My child, stop for a moment and listen. This is not an ordinary message, and this is not an ordinary moment. You are standing closer to change than you realize, and one final step now stands between you and what you have been praying for. Do not let distractions steal this from you. Do not assume you can come back to it later. What I am about to speak will touch the very place where you have been hesitating, wrestling, and waiting. Stay with me. Listen slowly. Let every word settle, because each one is meant for this exact moment in your life. If you have felt an urgency you cannot explain, a stirring you cannot ignore, this is why. Do not turn away now. What you hear next will ask something of you, and it will change everything that follows. My child, you are standing in a space that has been quietly forming around you for longer than you realize. This moment did not arrive suddenly, and it did not stumble into your life by chance. I have been guiding you toward it through conversations you barely remember, through disappointments you never expected, through delays that felt unfair and silence that felt heavy. Every step, every pause, every season where you wondered if you were stuck, I was shaping your awareness so that when this moment arrived, something inside you would recognize it. That stirring you feel, that subtle awareness that something matters right now, is not anxiety and it is not imagination. It is your spirit sensing that time has narrowed, that the noise has quieted, and that I am drawing near to speak more clearly than before. Heaven is not distant in this moment. He is attentive. I am attentive. And I want you to know that nothing about where you are right now is accidental. You are not merely alive in this moment. You are positioned. Positioned at a threshold where what has been can no longer remain the same, and what is coming can no longer stay hidden. I know you have lived through many moments that felt important before, moments where you thought, this must be it, only to feel disappointed later. That is why part of you hesitates now, guarding your heart, questioning whether this moment truly carries weight. But hear me gently and clearly. This moment is different. Not because of what you feel emotionally, but because of what I have been preparing spiritually. You are not here because you finally figured something out. You are here because I have brought you to a place where your heart is quiet enough, tired enough, and honest enough to listen without pretending. That is why this moment feels still. That is why it feels heavy and light at the same time. Something is being asked of you, not loudly, not forcefully, but unmistakably. And I need you to understand this, my child, because it will steady you. Moments like this do not shout. They do not announce themselves with spectacle. They arrive softly, carrying the weight of eternity in a whisper. This is not a moment of pressure. It is a moment of invitation. I am not rushing you, but I am asking you to be present. Fully present. Not thinking about what you failed to do before. Not worrying about whether you will do everything right next, but simply aware that you are here with me now. You have crossed many invisible lines to arrive at this place. Lines of endurance, lines of patience, lines of quiet faith that no one else applauded. And now, the ground beneath you feels different because it is different. You are no longer wandering. You are no longer searching blindly. You are standing at a turning point where awareness itself becomes responsibility, not a burden, but a sacred trust. I am not asking you to leap ahead, and I am not demanding that you understand everything that comes next. I am asking you to honor this moment by not dismissing it, not minimizing it, and not numbing yourself to it out of fear. Let yourself feel the significance without panicking. Let yourself acknowledge that something holy is happening without needing to define it yet. This is the moment where preparation meets readiness, even if you still feel uncertain. Uncertainty does not disqualify you. It confirms that you are standing at the edge of something larger than yourself. Stay here with me. Breathe. Listen. This moment is not passing you by. It is waiting for you to recognize it. My child, let me speak plainly to you now, because the urgency you feel is not panic and it is not pressure. It is precision. It is not anxiety chasing you. It is alignment pulling you forward. You have felt urgency before in your life, but it came with chaos, confusion, and fear. This urgency is different. It is quieter, deeper, heavier, and more focused. It does not shout, yet it refuses to be ignored. It sits with you when the noise fades. It rises when you are alone. It presses gently but persistently against your spirit, saying, "Pay attention. Do not drift. Do not delay." That is because this urgency was not created by circumstance. It was placed there by me. I placed it inside you like a compass needle, always pointing toward what must happen next. You feel it now because time and readiness have finally met. Not because you are running out of time in a human sense, but because the season that tolerated hesitation is closing. There was a time when wandering was part of your growth, when questioning was necessary, when uncertainty was allowed to stretch you. But this moment is not for wandering. This moment is for awareness. You are not being rushed. You are being summoned. There is a difference. Eyeing comes from fear. Summoning comes from purpose. And what you are sensing is purpose drawing near, purpose tightening its grip, purpose saying, "No." This urgency does not come to frighten you. It comes to focus you. It is not here to exhaust you. It is here to awaken you. You are feeling it because you are no longer asleep to what matters. Something in you has matured enough to recognize weight when it enters the room. That is why your spirit has grown alert while your mind still tries to catch up. I'm not alarming you, I'm aligning you. I am not destabilizing you. I am centering you. The urgency you feel is the sound of doors unlocking in the unseen, hinges loosening, pathways shifting into place. Heaven moves with intention, and when heaven moves, those who are listening feel it first as urgency. And listen carefully, my child, because this matters more than you realize. Urgency is often misunderstood by those who have been wounded by pressure. You have known what it feels like to be pushed before you were ready, to be demanded of when you were already empty, to be told now or never by voices that did not love you. That is why part of you flinches at urgency, trying to protect itself from another moment of overwhelm. But my urgency is not harsh, and it is not cruel. It is loving, deliberate, and precise. I do not shout to confuse you. I speak urgently to clarify you. When I say now, it is not because I am impatient. It is because the conditions are right. The soil is ready. The ground is open. The timing is exact. Think of a seed waiting beneath the surface. Too early and it rots. Too late and it withers. But there is a window, a narrow, sacred window, where growth becomes inevitable. You are standing in that window now. That is why the urgency feels personal. That is why it feels directed. That is why it feels like it is aimed directly at your heart and not at the world around you. This is not about everything at once. This is about one thing that matters most. One decision. One movement. One step. Urgency sharpens your vision so you stop scattering your energy across 1,000 small concerns and begin to focus on what truly carries weight. That is what is happening inside you. Your spirit is narrowing its gaze. The distractions that once satisfied you feel hollow now. The delays that once felt comfortable feel heavy now. Even the excuses that once sounded reasonable sound thin. That is not guilt. That is clarity. That is the evidence that you are closer to alignment than you have ever been before. I am not asking you to sprint. I am asking you to stop stalling. There is a difference. The urgency you feel is me saying, Do not numb this moment. Do not postpone what is ready. Do not talk yourself out of what your spirit already knows. So stay with me here, my child, because urgency always brings a choice. You can listen to it, or you can soothe it away. You can honor it, or you can silence it. Many do the latter because urgency demands honesty, and honesty requires courage. But I did not place this urgency in you to torment you. I placed it to protect you from drifting past your own turning point. This is not a general call. It is a personal one. It is not for everyone. It is for you. That is why it feels intimate. That is why it feels targeted. That is why you cannot shake it by distraction or denial. I am calling you into alignment before comfort talks you out of obedience. Before fear talks you into delay. Before familiarity convinces you to settle. Urgency is mercy when time matters. Urgency is love when destiny is near. Do not be afraid of it. Let it steady you. Let it wake you. Let it draw you closer instead of pushing you away. You are not losing control. You are being invited into trust. And as we move forward, remember this. Urgency does not mean everything must change at once. It means something must change now. One thing. One step. One response. Stay close, my child. We are not finished speaking. My child, if you could see your life the way I see it, you would stop calling your survival luck and start recognizing it as guidance. You would stop labeling your endurance as coincidence and begin to understand it as calling. You did not come this far by accident. Not one step, not one setback, not one season where you thought you were lost. Every detour carried instruction. Every delay carrying protection. Every disappointment carved depth into you that ease never could. You look back and see fragments, broken plans, unfinished stories, moments that did not make sense at the time. But I see a continuous line of preparation. I see a path that bent without breaking, stretched without sapping, delayed without destroying. There were moments you should have collapsed under the weight you carried, but you did not. There were seasons you should have quit believing, but something in you refused. That something was not stubbornness. It was purpose resisting extinction. You survived things that should have silenced you because what is inside you cannot be silenced. Even when you doubted yourself, even when you doubted me, you kept moving. Sometimes crawling, sometimes limping, sometimes standing still just long enough to catch your breath. But you did not disappear. You did not give up completely. You did not become what pain tried to make you. That matters. That tells a story. That proves something about who you are and where you are headed. Accidents do not produce this kind of endurance. Randomness does not shape this level of resilience. You are here because I kept you. Because I guided you through things you did not understand at the time. Because I closed doors that would have destroyed you and redirected you even when you resisted the turn. You call it confusion. I call it protection. You call it delay. I call it preparation. You call it loss. I call it pruning. And now, standing where you are finally able to see that something has been forming in you all along. And let me tell you something that will steady your heart, my child. The very areas where you felt most behind are the areas where you were being fortified. While you compared yourself to others and wondered why they seemed to move faster, I was deepening you. While you questioned why things took longer for you, I was strengthening your roots. To be an impressive people but sustain destiny. You were not built for a shallow calling that could be fulfilled quickly and forgotten easily. You were shaped for something that requires weight, wisdom, and endurance. That is why your journey has been layered. That is why it has been complex. That is why it has been slow in places where you wanted it to be fast. Nothing about your path disqualifies you. It qualifies you. Every tear refined your compassion. Every failure sharpened your discernment. Every season of waiting taught you how to listen instead of rush. You did not waste years. You invested them without realizing it. Even the times you thought you were standing still, something in you was maturing. Even the moments you felt stuck, something unseen was being aligned. I did not bring you this far to abandon you at the edge. I did not sustain you through storms just to leave you stranded at the shore. If you were meant to stop here, the journey would have broken you already. The fact that you are still here means there is more ahead. More purpose. More clarity. More life. You are not surviving anymore. You are arriving. And arrival always feels strange at first because it demands that you stop seeing yourself as someone trying and start recognizing yourself as someone who is ready. So let go of the lie that says, if I were truly called, it would have been easier. Let go of the lie that says, if this were meant to happen, it would have happened sooner. Those lies come from impatience, not truth. I do not rush what must last. I do not reveal what you are not ready to carry. And I do not waste pain. I redeem it. Everything you walk through is now standing behind you like a witness saying, you can do this. You have already done harder things. You are not standing at this moment empty-handed. You are standing here equipped with wisdom earned the hard way, faith tested by fire, and strength forged in silence. This is not the end of your story. It is the point where the story begins to make sense. And as we move forward, I want you to remember this truth and return to it when doubt tries to rise. You did not come this far by accident, and you will not move forward alone. I am the same one who guided you then, and I am here now, ready to guide you again. Stay with me. There is more to say. My child, I know how tired you are, even in ways you do not have words for. I know the exhaustion that sleep does not fix, the weariness that settles into the soul and makes even simple things feel heavy. You have carried more than your share, and you have carried it quietly. You learned how to function while hurting, how to smile while breaking, how to keep moving when everything inside you wanted to sit down and stop. That kind of weariness does not come from laziness or weakness, it comes from endurance. It comes from staying when it would have been easier to leave, believing when it would have been easier to give up, holding on when your hands were trembling. You are tired not because you failed, but because you have been faithful for a long time in places where no one applauded you. I saw the nights when you went to bed empty, and the mornings when you got up anyway. I saw the prayers that felt unanswered, and the strength you borrowed just to make it through one more day. Weariness hath been your companion for so long that you began to believe it defined you, but it does not. It is evidence of the weight you have carried, not a verdict on who you are. You are not exhausted because you are incapable. You are exhausted because you have been responsible, because you have cared deeply, because you have refused to abandon what mattered. There is a holy fatigue that comes from obedience, and that is what you are feeling now. Not the fatigue of running in circles, but the fatigue of having walked a long road faithfully. This is not the tiredness of someone who is lost. This is the tiredness of someone who is almost done with a chapter that demanded everything. And hear me clearly here, my child, because this truth will shift how you see yourself. Your weariness is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that you are close to rest of a different kind. Not the rest that comes from escaping responsibility, but the rest that comes from alignment. There is a difference between being tired because you are doing the wrong thing and being tired because you have done the right thing for a long time. You have been pouring out without seeing immediate return, sowing without yet reaping, standing without yet seeing the full fruit of your standing. That kind of weariness often arrives just before release, just before relief, just before a shift. The enemy would love to tell you that your tiredness means you are finished, that you have nothing left, that now is the time to retreat. But I tell you the opposite. This weariness means you are standing at the edge of transition. It means the season that required constant effort is ending, and the season that will require trust is beginning. You are not being asked to push harder. You are being asked to lean closer. You are not being called to summon strength you do not have. You are being invited to receive strength that does not come from you. I have not ignored your fatigue. I have been measuring it. I have been watching how long you have carried what you were never meant to carry forever. And now I am speaking because I do not want you to mistake proximity to rest for permission to quit. Do not confuse exhaustion with defeat. One drains you, the other defines you. You are drained because you have given much, not because you are empty of purpose. You are tired because you have been faithful, not because you are finished. So let me speak into your weariness with tenderness and authority both. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to admit it. You are allowed to stop pretending you are stronger than you feel. What you are not allowed to do is believe that your weariness disqualifies you from what comes next. It does not. In fact, it qualifies you because it proves you did not take shortcuts. It proves you did not abandon the process when it became uncomfortable. It proves you have the capacity to endure what others walked away from. And now, my child, I am not asking you to find new energy. I am asking you to trust that I am about to change the weight you are carrying. The burden is about to shift. The pace is about to change. The way forward will not demand what the way behind required. This is why I am calling you to listen closely now. Not because I want to exhaust you further, but because I want to lead you out of survival mode and into something steadier, quieter, and stronger. Stay with me. Your weariness is not the end of your strength. It is the doorway to a different kind of strength altogether. My child, there is a step you have been circling, and you know it. You have thought about it in quiet moments and pushed it away in busy ones. You have felt it rise in your heart and then talked yourself out of it with logic, caution, and fear disguised as wisdom. This is not a step you avoided because you did not care. You avoided it because it matters. Because once taken, things cannot return to how they were before. You sensed that this step would change the conversation, change the direction, change the way you see yourself and the way others see you. And change, even when it is good, can feel dangerous when you have been wounded. You told yourself you were waiting for clarity, but deeper down you were waiting for certainty. And certainty rarely comes before obedience. This step does not require you to know everything. It requires you to trust someone. That is why it has felt heavy. That is why it has lingered. That is why it returns again and again even when you try to bury it. This step is not loud. It is not dramatic. It may even look small on the outside, but it carries disproportionate weight because it is a hinge moment, a turning point, one movement that unlocks a series of movements behind it. You have been faithful in many things, but this step is different because it asks you to move without guarantees, to act without applause, to trust without a backup plan. And that has exposed the place in you that still wants control. I do not say that to shame you. I say it to free you. Control feels like safety when you have been hurt, but it slowly becomes a cage. This step is not about risk. It is about release. And listen to me now with your whole heart, my child. Avoiding this step has not protected you the way you hoped it would. It has kept you from harm, yes, but it has also kept you from momentum. You have learned how to survive beautifully, how to manage wisely, how to guard yourself carefully. But you were not created only to survive. You were created to move, to grow, to step into what I placed inside you before fear taught you caution. This step you have been avoiding is not reckless. It is ripe. It is not premature. It is precise. The timing is not random. It is intentional. That is why the pressure around it has increased. Not pressure to force you, but pressure to clarify the moment. I am not asking you to jump blindly. I am asking you to step deliberately. With me. The ground may look unfamiliar, but it is firm. I have already gone ahead of you. I have already accounted for what you cannot see. The fear you feel does not mean the step is wrong. It means it matters. Fear often shows up when something meaningful is at stake. Do not let fear interpret the moment for you. Let me do that. I do not invite you into steps that will destroy you. I invite you into steps that will grow you, stretch you, and ultimately steady you. This step is not a test of your bravery. It is an invitation into trust. Trust that I am as present on the other side as I am here. Trust that obedience will not leave you stranded. Trust that you do not have to see the whole staircase to take the next step. So here we are, my child, standing face to face with the thing you have delayed, the decision you have postponed, the movement you have rehearsed but not yet made. I am not angry with you for waiting. I am not disappointed in your caution. But I am calling you now to stop circling and start stepping. Not because time is running out in panic, but because readiness has arrived in peace. You do not need more signs. You do not need more confirmation. You need courage that is quiet, steady, and willing. The kind of courage that does not shout, but moves. The kind that says, I am afraid, but I trust you more than I trust my fear. Take the step with me. Not alone. Not rushed. Not pressured. Just obedient. And when you do, you will feel it. The shift. The release. The sense that something long held has finally been handed over. Stay close. We are not finished yet. My child, fear has been speaking to you for a long time, and it has not been subtle. It has raised its voice in moments of silence and whispered in moments of decision. It has spoken in images of what could go wrong, in memories of what already did, and in rehearsed outcomes that never actually happened but felt real enough to stop you. Fear has learned your language. It knows which memories to replay, which disappointments to highlight, which past failures to exaggerate. It does not shout nonsense. It speaks half-truths wrapped in concern, caution disguised as wisdom, protection masquerading as paralysis. That is why it hath been so convincing. Fear told you, if you move forward, you will lose what stability you have left. Fear said, if you try again, the pain will return. Fear warned, if you trust, you may be disappointed. And because you are thoughtful, because you are self-aware, because you have learned from pain, you listen. Not because you are weak, but because you are careful. But now I need you to hear me over the noise fear has created. Fear hath been loud, yes, but volume does not equal authority. Fear has spoken often, but repetition does not make it true. Fear has described many futures, but it has never seen the one I am preparing. It has only seen backward. Fear is a historian of pain, not a prophet of purpose. It can only forecast what you have already lived, not what I am about to reveal. That is why fear feels so familiar. It borrows your past to argue against your future. And you, my child, have allowed it to speak longer than it should have because you did not want to be reckless again, because you did not want to bleed again, because you did not want to hope and be disappointed again. I understand that. I do not rebuke you for it. But I am speaking now because fear has overstayed its welcome. What once protected you is now restraining you. What once helped you survive is now keeping you from moving. There is a time when caution is wise, and there is a time when it becomes disobedience dressed as prudence. You are standing at that line now. Fear has told you that stepping forward will cost you too much. But fear never tells you the cost of staying still. It never tells you what slowly withers when obedience is postponed. It never shows you the quiet erosion of confidence, the subtle shrinking of faith, the gradual dimming of hope. Fear only talks about dramatic loss, never about silent loss. And yet I see the toll it has taken on you already, the second-guessing, the hesitation, the constant mental rehearsals that leave you exhausted before you even act. Fear has made you feel responsible for outcomes you were never meant to control. It has convinced you that safety comes from predictability, when in truth, safety comes from me. You have tried to manage risk instead of trusting guidance. You have tried to eliminate uncertainty instead of leaning into relationship. And fear applauded you every time you chose control over trust. But hear me now, my child, with clarity and compassion both. Fear does not get to decide what happens next. It has spoken, yes, but now it must be quiet. Not because it will disappear forever, but because it will no longer lead. Fear may sit in the back seat if it must, but it will not drive. I am not asking you to feel fearless. I am asking you to move faithfully. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is obedience in the presence of fear. And you are capable of that kind of courage, even now, even tired, even uncertain. I am not asking you to deny what you feel. I am asking you to decide who you will listen to. Fear has been loud, but I am steady. Fear has been urgent in panic, but I am urgent in purpose. Fear has shouted worst-case scenarios, but I am whispering promises that cannot fail. So let this be a turning moment in your inner world. Not a dramatic confrontation, but a quiet transfer of authority. Let fear know it is no longer in charge. Let it know that its season of leadership has ended. You do not need to argue with it. You do not need to prove it wrong. You only need to stop obeying it. Obedience gives fear its power. Trust gives me room to move. And I am moving now, my child, closer than you think, steadier than you feel. Fear told you that if you step forward, you will fall. I tell you that if you stay where you are, you will remain bound to what no longer fits you. Fear told you that you cannot survive another disappointment. I tell you that you have already survived more than you thought possible, and you did not survive alone. Fear told you that you must see everything before you move. I tell you that sight often follows obedience, not the other way around. Listen to me now. Let my voice become louder than your what-ifs, stronger than your memories, clearer than your doubts. Fear has spoken loudly, yes, but it is not the final voice in your life. I am. My child, you have carried a quiet shame that you rarely speak aloud, the fear that you are behind. Behind where you thought you would be by now. Behind others who started later but seem to have arrived sooner. Behind the version of yourself you imagined years ago when the road still felt wide and full of promise. The sense of being behind has weighed on you more than you admit. It has shaped how you see yourself, how you measure your progress, how you interpret every delay and detour. You have asked yourself, did I miss my moment? Did I wait too long? Did my hesitation cost me my future? And because time keeps moving forward, those questions have felt urgent, heavy, and sometimes unbearable. But hear me now with absolute clarity and tenderness. You are not behind. Not by heaven's clock. Not by my design. Not by the purpose written over your life. You are only behind by comparisons that were never meant to define you. You are only behind by timelines that were shaped by other people's paths, not yours. I never asked you to arrive when others arrived. I asked you to arrive when you were ready. And readiness is not about speed. It is about alignment. You did not lose time. You invested it in becoming someone who could carry what is coming without being destroyed by it. If I had brought you here earlier, it would have crushed you. If I had given you then what you are prepared for now, it would have broken you instead of blessing you. I protected you from premature arrival. I shielded you from success without structure, influence without identity, opportunity without endurance. What you call behind, I call preserved. And let me say this gently but firmly, my child. Comparison has been one of the most subtle thieves of your peace. It has convinced you that progress must look loud, visible, and fast to be real. It has made you question your worth because your journey did not resemble someone else's highlight reel. But I do not measure lives by visibility, I measure them by faithfulness. I do not reward speed. I honor obedience. I do not rush what must last. You were never meant to sprint through becoming. Becoming takes time. Becoming requires seasons that look unproductive from the outside but are deeply formative on the inside. While you were wondering why nothing seemed to be happening, I was doing work in you that could not be rushed, teaching you discernment, humility, patience, resilience. Teaching you how to listen instead of react. Teaching you how to wait without despair. Teaching you how to trust without control. Those lessons do not come quickly, and they do not come cheaply. But they make the difference between those who rise briefly and those who stand firmly. You are not behind. You are deep. You are not late. You are layered. You are not delayed. You are developed. The world celebrates acceleration. I celebrate formation. And what I am forming in you now will sustain you later in ways speed never could. So release the pressure you have placed on yourself to catch up. There is nothing to catch up to. There is only something to step into. Your life is not a race with a finish line you are failing to reach. It is a calling with a timing that must be honored. And that timing is now. Not because you forced it, not because you finally earned it, but because you are ready to walk forward without abandoning yourself in the process. You no longer need to rush to prove anything. You no longer need to compare to validate anything. You no longer need to punish yourself for seasons that taught you what you know today. Every season served you, even the ones that hurt, even the ones that felt wasted, even the ones you wish you could erase. They brought you here, clearer, humbler, stronger, more honest. You are not behind, my child. You are right on time for what actually matters. And as we move forward together, I want you to carry this truth with you and return to it when old thoughts try to rise. Heaven is not anxious about your timeline. Heaven is aligned with your obedience. Stay with me. We are moving now. My child, there were seasons when my voice felt distant to you, when the heavens seemed closed and your prayers echoed back unanswered. You spoke, but nothing moved. You waited, but nothing changed you. You listened, but all you heard was quiet. And in that silence, you began to wonder if I had stepped away, if I had grown tired of you, if perhaps you had done something wrong that caused me to withdraw. The silence felt personal, like rejection rather than rest. It felt heavy, like abandonment rather than intention. But hear me now, with tenderness and truth intertwined. My silence was never absence. It was never neglect. It was never disinterest. Silence is not the same as distance, and quiet is not the same as indifference. I was never farther away than in those moments you felt most alone. I was closer than your breath, nearer than your own thoughts, working in ways that required stillness rather than sound. There are things I do in noise, and there are things I only do in silence. When I speak loudly, I am guiding direction. When I am quiet, I am shaping depth. You expected instructions, but I was forming endurance. You expected answers, but I was building trust. You wanted movement, but I was establishing foundations that would not collapse later. Silence is uncomfortable because it removes the illusion of control. It leaves you with nothing but faith, nothing but honesty, nothing but me. And that is why it felt so hard. The silence stripped away your distractions, your shortcuts, your reliance on signs instead of relationship. It invited you into a deeper listening, a listening that does not depend on sound but on surrender. I was not ignoring you. I was teaching you how to remain when reassurance was not immediate. And my child, I know how you interpreted that silence. You told yourself stories in the quiet. You wondered if I had changed my mind about you. You questioned whether your prayers mattered, whether your effort was seen, whether your faith was enough. The enemy whispered lies into the stillness, using the absence of noise to suggest the absence of love. But I was there the whole time, working beneath the surface, arranging what could not yet be revealed. Some things cannot be spoken too early without being misunderstood or misused. Some answers would have tempted you to rush ahead before you were ready. Some revelations would have created pressure you were not meant to carry yet. So I kept quiet, not to punish you but to protect you. I was aligning timing, adjusting circumstances, preparing people, and strengthening you internally so that when the moment arrived, you would not only recognize it, you would be able to respond to it. Silence was my way of slowing you down without stopping you completely. It was my way of keeping you close without overwhelming you. I know you thought nothing was happening. I know you feared you were being forgotten. But the deepest work often happens unseen, like roots growing underground long before fruit appears above the surface. You were not stagnant. You were developing. You were not ignored. You were being invested in. And every tear you cried in that silence was counted, not dismissed. Every prayer whispered in exhaustion reached me, even when you felt unheard. Silence did not mean I was finished speaking. It meant I was preparing the moment when my words would land with power. So now, my child, as the silence begins to break, I want you to reinterpret the quiet you endured. Do not look back on it with bitterness or regret. Look at it as sacred ground. That silence taught you how to sit with uncertainty without running, how to trust without guarantees, how to remain faithful without applause. It stripped away the need for constant confirmation and replaced it with quiet confidence. And that confidence is what you carry now as you stand at the edge of what comes next. If I had spoken sooner, you might not have listened as deeply. If I had moved faster, you might not have learned patience. If I had answered immediately, you might not have grown roots strong enough to withstand what is coming. The silence was not absence, it was preparation. And now, because you stayed, because you endured, because you did not walk away even when it hurt, you are ready to hear me again. My voice has not changed. My love has not diminished. My presence has never left. Stay close, my child. What I speak next will make sense only because you learn to listen in the quiet. My child, the silence you endured was not only for you. It was so my voice could reach others through you. As I have sown depth in you, now I ask you to help sow light where silence still feels heavy for many souls. Cast your bread upon the waters, and you will find it after many days, for what you release now becomes manna for someone else's wilderness. If you have felt stirred, that stirring is my invitation. This is the moment to give. Your offering becomes oil in the lamp, fire in the message, and a river that carries my word farther than your voice alone can reach. I bless what you sow with multiplication, with protection over your household, and with favor that opens doors no man can shut. Do not delay what I am asking you to release. Support this work now, through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and let the harvest begin today. My child, I need you to understand the weight of the moment you are standing in, not to frighten you, but to steady you. This is not a small decision, even if it looks simple on the surface. It may not involve a dramatic gesture or a visible announcement. It may not feel monumental in the way the world defines importance. But heaven measures differently. What you are facing now carries disproportionate influence because it is a hinge moment. Small in appearance, massive in consequence. You are not choosing between two obvious extremes. You are choosing between obedience and delay, between trust and control, between stepping forward and remaining where familiarity feels safer than faith. Small decisions shape big directions. Quiet yeses open loud doors. Subtle shifts redirect entire futures. You have been conditioned to believe that only large, visible actions matter. But I tell you the truth, most destinies turn on moments that no one else sees. The decision before you is not about impressing anyone or proving anything. It is about alignment. It is about whether you will respond to the nudge you feel rather than silence it again. This decision matters not because it is complicated, but because it is clarifying. It will settle something internally that has been unsettled for a long time. It will draw a line between who you were surviving as and who you are becoming. That is why it feels heavy. That is why it has your attention. That is why it keeps returning to your thoughts. Heaven is not asking for drama. It is asking for obedience. And obedience, even when quiet, carries authority. You have hesitated because part of you hoped this decision would become easier, clearer, or less costly with time. But some decisions do not become easier. They become heavier the longer they are delayed. Not because they punish you, but because they demand resolution. You have felt the tension of standing between two places, no longer comfortable where you are, not yet committed to where you are going. A tension is uncomfortable, but it is purposeful. It is meant to move you, not torment you. This decision is not about perfection. It is not about getting everything right. It is about choosing direction over drift. You have drifted long enough, my child, not because you were careless, but because you were cautious. Now I am calling you out of caution and into clarity. The weight you feel is not pressure to perform. It is the gravity of purpose pulling you into alignment. Do not underestimate what one faithful decision can release. Do not minimize what one act of trust can unlock. Heaven responds to obedience more than it responds to effort. You have worked hard already. You have endured much already. Now you are being asked to choose. And choosing is often harder than striving because it removes excuses and reveals priorities. But I am with you in this choice. I am not watching from a distance. I am standing with you in the decision itself. So take this moment seriously, but do not take it fearfully. Reverence is not panic. Awareness is not anxiety. I am not trying to overwhelm you. I am inviting you to be intentional. This decision will not ruin you if you choose wrong, but it will release you if you choose trust. I am not threatening loss. I am offering alignment. And alignment always brings peace, even when the path ahead is unfamiliar. You are not being asked to decide your entire future in one moment. You are being asked to honor what you know now, to respond to the light you have, not wait for light you do not need yet. This is not a small decision because it teaches your heart how to respond to my voice. It sets a pattern. It establishes a rhythm. And that rhythm will guide you in the days ahead. Stay present. Stay honest. Stay willing. I'm not here for fearlessness, I'm here for faithfulness. And I promise you this, my child, When you choose with me, even the smallest step will carry eternal weight. My child, I need you to hear this slowly and let it sink beneath the noise of your thoughts. You are not taking this step alone. Even though it feels solitary, even though the decision feels like it rests entirely on your shoulders, even though no one else can fully walk this path for you, you are not by yourself. I have never asked you to move forward without my presence going before you, beside you, and within you. The loneliness you feel right now is not proof of abandonment. It is proof of intimacy. There are moments when crowds disappear and familiar voices quiet because the step ahead requires direct communion between you and me. This is one of those moments. I have drawn you close, not to isolate you, but to anchor you. You have mistaken the quiet companionship of heaven for isolation because you expected support to look louder, more visible, more human. But divine support often feels quieter than you expect because it does not compete for attention. It sustains you from within. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. You are stepping into alignment with me. And alignment always comes with presence. I am already in the place you are afraid to step into. I am already standing in the future you are hesitating to face. I am not calling you forward from behind. I am calling you forward from ahead. When you take this step, you are not leaving safety. You are walking deeper into it, even if it feels unfamiliar. Familiarity is not safety. I am, and I have not moved. You have lived through seasons where you had to rely on yourself because others failed you. You learned independence the hard way. You learned how to self-soothe, self-protect, self-direct. And while those skills helped you survive, they also taught you a lie, that you must always carry everything alone. That lie has made this step feel heavier than it actually is, because you think it depends entirely on your strength, your wisdom, your ability to hold everything together. But I am telling you now, this step does not depend on your strength alone. It depends on your willingness to lean in trust, to allow me to carry what you cannot. You are not being asked to figure out every detail or secure every outcome. You are being asked to walk with me instead of ahead of me or behind me. You have tried both. You have rushed ahead and fallen. You have lagged behind and grown frustrated. Now I am inviting you into rhythm. Step for step, breath for breath, decision for decision. You do not need to see far. You only need to stay close. When you stumble, I will steady you. When you question, I will clarify. When you grow tired, I will sustain. I have not waited this long to leave you unsupported now. I have not guided you through fire to abandon you at the threshold of promise. If you were meant to do this alone, I would not be speaking to you now with such clarity and closeness. The fact that you feel me near, even as you feel afraid, is proof that you are not alone. So let go of the belief that this step is a solitary burden. It is a shared movement. Let go of the fear that you will be exposed or abandoned once you move. I do not invite my children into steps where I will not remain present. I do not send you where I am unwilling to go with you. This is not a test of your independence. It is an invitation into dependence of the truest kind. Not weakness, trust. Not helplessness, partnership. You are not alone in this step, my child, even if others do not understand it, even if they do not affirm it, even if they cannot walk it with you. Their absence does not indicate my absence. Your silence does not mean heaven is silent. You are surrounded by my attention, my care, my guidance. And as you take this step, you will begin to notice something subtle but powerful. The weight shifts. The fear loosens. The ground feels steadier. Not because everything suddenly makes sense, but because you are no longer trying to carry it all yourself. Stay close. Walk with me. You were never meant to do this alone. My child, the resistance you feel right now is not a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. It is a sign that you are moving toward something that matters. Resistance always rises where movement threatens stagnation. It surfaces when comfort is challenged, when old patterns are confronted, when familiar limits are about to be crossed. You feel resistance in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your body itself, a heaviness, a hesitation, a pull backward even as something inside you leans forward. That tension is not confusion, it is collision. Collision between who you have been surviving, as in who you are being called to become. The enemy does not resist what is insignificant. Fear does not fight what poses no threat. Old habits do not cling tightly unless they sense they are about to be replaced. Resistance is loud because it is desperate. It knows its influence is fading, and it wants you to misinterpret its volume as wisdom. But volume does not equal truth. Noise does not equal authority. Resistance often disguises itself as logic, caution, and common sense. It says, wait a little longer. It says, now is not the right time. It says, what if you regret this? And because you are thoughtful, you listen. But I am speaking now to help you discern the difference between wisdom and resistance. Wisdom brings peace even when it calls you forward. Resistance brings anxiety even when it tells you to stay. Wisdom aligns you with trust. Resistance feeds on fear. You are feeling resistance because the step ahead will break a pattern that no longer serves you. Resistance also arises because you are crossing an internal boundary, not just an external one. You are not merely changing circumstances, you are changing posture. You are shifting how you respond, how you decide, how you define yourself. An internal change always meets opposition from old identities that fear replacement. You have lived as the cautious one, the patient one, the one who waits, the one who endures quietly. Those traits served you in certain seasons, but now they are being refined. Not removed, refined. Endurance is becoming courage. Patience is becoming movement. Caution is becoming discernment rather than delay. And the old versions of those traits resist change because they mistake growth for danger. That is why resistance feels personal. It feels internal. It feels like your own voice arguing against you. But hear me clearly, my child. Not every voice that sounds like you is aligned with me. Some are echoes of survival, not signals of destiny. Resistance is not evil, it is outdated. It belongs to a chapter that protected you when you were vulnerable. But you are not as vulnerable as you once were. You are stronger, wiser, steadier. And resistance is reacting to that strength. It is reacting to the fact that you are no longer willing to live small to stay safe. It is reacting to the fact that you are beginning to trust me more than your fear. So do not be alarmed by the resistance. Interpret it correctly. Resistance is confirmation that you are close. Close to change. Close to breakthrough. Close to alignment. Every meaningful step you have ever taken was preceded by resistance. You resisted believing when you first trusted me. You resisted forgiving when you first released pain. You resisted hoping when disappointment still lingered. And yet you moved anyway, and each time, growth followed. This moment is no different. The resistance you feel is the last defense of what is familiar, not the voice of what is right. Let it be present without letting it lead. Let it exist without obeying it. You do not have to fight it aggressively. You only have to keep moving forward despite it. Resistance loses power when it is no longer in charge. And I am here, my child, not only to guide you through resistance, but to show you that it will not last. On the other side of obedience is clarity. On the other side of movement is peace. On the other side of this resistance is a freedom you have not known yet. Stay with me. You are closer than you think. My child, I need you to hear this not as encouragement but as truth. You were built for this moment. Not randomly shaped, not accidentally formed, not somehow stumbling into a responsibility you cannot carry. You were designed with this season in mind long before you were aware it would come. Every part of you, your sensitivity, your resilience, your depth, your ability to endure quietly, was woven together with intention. You did not develop these qualities by coincidence. They were cultivated through experiences that strengthened you in ways comfort never could. You were built through tension, through pressure, through contradiction. Built in moments when you had to hold faith in one hand and disappointment in the other. Built in seasons when you were required to keep going without clarity, to keep believing without proof, to keep loving without assurance. That is not weakness. That is formation. You were being trained for weight. And weight is not given to those who cannot carry it. You have told yourself that you are not ready, that you lack something essential, that others are better equipped or more confident or more capable. But readiness is not loud confidence. It is quiet steadiness. It is the ability to remain when everything in you wants to flee. It is the capacity to listen rather than react. It is the courage to move even when certainty has not yet arrived. You have those things. You always have. That is why you are here now. If you were not built for this, the journey would have broken you long ago. If this moment required someone else, you would not be standing in it. I do not make mistakes in placement. I do not call what I have not prepared. You are not standing here by accident. You are standing here because your life has been shaping you for this exact intersection. And my child, I know you struggle to see yourself the way I see you. You see gaps, I see growth. You see flaws. I see refinement. You see fear. I see discernment, learning how to stand upright. You see hesitation. I see wisdom stretching toward courage. You have mistaken humility for inadequacy and self-awareness for unworthiness. But humility does not mean you deny what I have placed inside you. It means you acknowledge that your strength comes from me. And that is precisely what makes you ready. You were not built to rely on yourself alone. You were built to move in partnership with me. That is why your strength feels quiet rather than aggressive. That is why your courage feels thoughtful rather than impulsive. That is why your faith feels deep rather than flashy. You were never meant to overpower this moment. You were meant to steward it. And stewardship requires maturity, not bravado. The trials you endured were not random tests. They were calibrations. Each one adjusted your heart, sharpened your discernment, softened your spirit, and strengthened your spine. You learned how to stand without applause, how to remain without reassurance, how to hope without guarantees. Those are not small skills. Those are rare strengths. And now they are required. This moment does not need someone reckless. It needs someone grounded. It does not need someone loud. It needs someone faithful. It does not need someone perfect. It needs someone willing. That someone is you. So stop disqualifying yourself with comparisons that do not apply to your calling. Stop measuring your readiness by someone else's confidence. Stop waiting for a version of yourself that does not exist. You are not becoming ready. You are ready now, precisely as you are. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you have learned how to trust me when you do not. That is what this moment requires. I am not asking you to transform into someone new before you move. I am asking you to step forward as who you already are. The person you have become through endurance, patience, humility, and faith. You were built for this, my child. Built in silence. Built in waiting. built in moments that felt insignificant but were shaping something strong. And now, what was built is being called forward. Stay with me. Trust what I have formed in you. This moment is not too big for you. You were made for it. My child, there is something behind you that has been quietly trying to keep you from moving forward, and it is not your present circumstances. It is your past. Not just what happened, but how you remember it, how you interpret it, how you allow it to speak into who you believe you are now. The past has been patient with you. It has waited for moments of hesitation, moments of uncertainty, moments when your confidence wavered, and it has stepped forward to remind you of who you used to be, what went wrong before, what did not work the last time you tried. It has spoken in familiar tones, using your own voice, wearing your own memories. And because it sounds like you, you have listened. But I need you to hear this clearly, my child. The past does not have authority over your present unless you give it that authority. Memory is not prophecy. Experience is not destiny. What happened before does not get to decide what happens next. The past can inform you, but it cannot imprison you unless you allow it to. You have learned lessons, yes. You have gained wisdom, yes. But you are not meant to live inside yesterday's conclusions. You are not meant to keep negotiating with versions of yourself that existed under different levels of knowledge, strength, and support. You are not the same person who failed then. You are not the same person who was hurt then. You are not the same person who lacked clarity then. The past is familiar, and familiarity can feel safe even when it is limiting. But safety that costs growth is not safety, it is stagnation. And I did not bring you this far to let yesterday define tomorrow. You have been loyal to your past pain in ways you do not even realize. You have honored it by staying small. You have protected it by avoiding risk. You have justified it by saying, "This is just who I am now." But I am telling you with love and authority, your pain does not get to write your future. Your mistakes do not get to set your ceiling. Your regrets do not get to dictate your direction. I redeem those moments the moment you surrender them to me. What you call scars, I call evidence of survival. What you call failure, I call experience. What you call brokenness, I call depth. The past has served its purpose. It taught you what you needed to know. It strengthened you where you were weak. It exposed what needed healing. But it is not meant to be your home. You were never called to live looking backward. You were called to walk forward with wisdom, not weight. And yet you have been carrying the past like a backpack filled with stones, wondering why the next step feels so heavy. The weight you feel is not the future. It is what you are dragging with you from behind. Release it. Not because it did not matter, but because it no longer owns you. So hear me now, my child, as I speak freedom over you. The past cannot hold you here unless you stop moving. It has no hands. It has no power. It can only whisper, not command. You are standing at a threshold that requires you to loosen your grip on who you were in order to step fully into who you are becoming. This does not mean forgetting what happened. It means refusing to let it govern your choices. It means honoring the lessons without living in the wounds. It means trusting that I can do something new without being limited by what was. You are not betraying your past by moving forward. You are redeeming it. Every step you take now transforms what once hurt into something that strengthens others later. Do not look back for permission to move. You already have my permission. You always have. The past cannot hold you here, my child. Only hesitation can. And you are no longer the one who hesitates. Stay with me. We are moving forward now. My child, there were nights when your prayers did not sound poetic or powerful. They were not polished. They were not long. They were not confident. They were quiet, cracked, and sometimes barely formed. Sometimes they were nothing more than a sigh. Sometimes they were tears without word. Sometimes they were whispered questions spoken into the dark. Lord, something has to change. I cannot stay like this. Show me what to do. You did not always know what you were asking for, but I did. You were not praying for comfort, you were praying for movement. You were not asking for escape, you were asking for transformation. You were not asking me to remove you from the process. You were asking me to shift it. And now you are standing inside the very thing you asked for. This moment did not appear suddenly. It was conceived in prayer long before it appeared in your awareness. Every time you asked for clarity, for courage, for direction, for something different, you were planting seeds. And seeds do not announce when they begin to grow. They break open quietly beneath the surface. That is what has been happening in you. The shift you prayed for did not arrive as instant relief or dramatic change. It arrived as restlessness, a dissatisfaction with staying the same, as a holy discomfort that would not let you settle. That discomfort was not punishment, it was preparation. It was the sound of your prayers being answered in process, not in spectacle. You prayed for change, and change has come, but not as noise, as invitation. And I know, my child, that part of you expected the shift to feel easier. You thought answered prayer would feel lighter, clearer, less demanding. But answered prayer often arrives as responsibility before it arrives as relief. It arrives as choice before it arrives as outcome. It arrives as alignment before it arrives as celebration. You asked me to shift your life, and now I am asking you to shift your posture. You asked me to move things, and now I am asking you to move with me. This is how prayer works at depth. I do not simply rearrange circumstances around a heart that is unwilling to move. I invite the heart into participation. And that is what you are feeling now, the weight and privilege of participation. You are not being dragged into change, you are being invited into it. The reason this moment feels serious is because it honors your prayers. To ignore this moment would be to treat your own cries lightly. To delay now would be to ask again for what has already been offered. You prayed for this shift when you were tired of pretending, tired of surviving, tired of circling the same emotional ground. And I listened. I listened when you doubted whether I was listening. I listened when your faith was thin. I listened when your hope felt fragile. And now, here we are. The shift is not something that will happen to you while you watch from the sidelines. It is something that will happen through you as you respond. So do not misunderstand what you are experiencing. This tension, this urgency, this awareness, it is not confusion. It is confirmation. It is the evidence that prayer has reached fulfillment stage. You are no longer asking, Lord, do something. You are being asked, will you step into what I am doing? This is sacred ground, my child. This is the space where prayer meets obedience. And I am not rushing you, but I am reminding you. You have prayed for this shift. You asked for it in weakness. You asked for it in honesty. You asked for it when you had nothing left to impress me with. And I honored that prayer. And now honor it too. Do not shrink back when the answer begins to take shape. You not second guess when the door begins to open. Stay present. Stay willing. The shift you asked for is here, and it is gentle, but it is also decisive. Walk into it with me. My child, you have been standing in front of a door, and instead of opening it, you have been analyzing the hinges. You have been studying the frame, testing the handle, questioning the material, imagining what might be on the other side. You have turned one simple movement into 1,000 complicated thoughts. Not because you are foolish, but because you are afraid of missteps. Overthinking has felt like wisdom to you. It has felt like responsibility. It has felt like protection. But there is a difference between discernment and delay, between wisdom and worry. Discernment listens and moves. Worry listens and stalls. You have listened long enough. Now you are being asked to move. The door in front of you does not require perfect understanding. It requires willingness. Doors are not opened with certainty. They are opened with obedience. If you wait to understand everything, you will miss moments that were only meant to be entered, not analyzed. Overthinking has kept you busy without moving you forward. It has given you the illusion of control while quietly draining your courage. And I am speaking now because this door will not remain open indefinitely, not as a threat, but as a truth. Opportunity is often gentle, but it is not passive. It responds to movement. You are not being tested on how well you can think. You are being invited to trust. I know why you overthink, my child. You learned that mistakes are costly. You learned that wrong choices can hurt deeply. You learned that once something is done, it cannot always be undone. So you slowed yourself down, told yourself you were being careful, told yourself you were being mature. But careful has quietly turned into cautious paralysis, and paralysis has begun to feel normal. But I did not create you to live suspended between decision and delay. I created you to move in rhythm with me. And right now, the rhythm is forward. You do not need to replay every past failure to prove that you have learned. You do not need to simulate every possible outcome to be responsible. You do not need to earn the right to step through what I am already opening. Overthinking is not humility. It is fear asking to be validated. And fear does not get to hold the pen anymore. You have already prayed. You have already listened. You have already grown. Now you are being asked to act. The door does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be open. And it is open. Not because you forced it, but because the timing is right. What is on the other side is not chaos. It is clarity that only comes after movement. So hear me now, my child, as I simplify what you have complicated. Open the door. Not tomorrow. Not after one more round of analysis. Not after one more sign. Open it now, with the faith you have, not the certainty you wish you had. Obedience often looks unspectacular. It often feels quiet. But it carries power because it aligns you with me. When you step through this door, you will not suddenly have all the answers, but you will have direction. You will feel the shift. You will sense the peace that comes not from knowing everything, but from doing the next right thing. Overthinking has kept you standing still long enough. This door is not a trap. It is not a traitor. It is an invitation. And invitations are meant to be accepted, not dissected. Take the step. Turn the handle. Trust me with what comes next. I am already there. My child, you have misunderstood courage for a long time. You thought courage had to announce itself, had to feel bold, had to rise up in you like a surge of confidence that silences every doubt. You believed that if you were truly ready, you would feel fearless, energized, certain. But courage rarely arrives that way. Loud courage belongs to movies and moments of spectacle. Real courage, the kind that shapes destiny, arrives quietly. It slips into the room without making noise. It does not shout over fear. It stands beside fear and moves anyway. Courage does not wait for your emotions to catch up. It moves with your values even when your emotions lag behind. That is why you have doubted whether you were courageous at all. You looked for bravery in how you felt instead of how you stayed. You looked for boldness in how confident you sounded instead of how faithful you remained. But I have been watching you, my child, and I have seen courage in you again and again. I saw it when you got up on days you wanted to disappear. I saw it when you told the truth instead of protecting your image. I saw it when you chose not to harden your heart even after it was wounded. That was courage. White courage. Steady courage. The kind that does not demand attention but carries authority. The kind that does not rush but does not retreat either. And now, that same courage is being asked of you again, not in a dramatic leap, but in a calm decision to move forward even while your heart beats faster. Courage is not loud. It does not perform. It obeys. You have waited for courage to feel different before you act, but courage often follows action, not the other way around. The feeling comes after the step, not before it. This is why courage has felt elusive to you. You were waiting to feel brave enough to move, when in truth, bravery is revealed in the movement itself. I am not asking you to feel ready. I am asking you to trust me enough to move while feeling unsure. That is quiet courage. It is the courage that whispers, I am afraid, but I will not be ruled by fear. It is the courage that says, I do not know how this will turn out, but I know who walks with me. Loud courage depends on adrenaline. Quiet courage depends on trust. Loud courage burns fast and fades quickly. Quiet courage sustains. It carries you through long seasons, not just short moments. And you, my child, were not built for momentary bravery. You were built for enduring courage. The kind that holds steady when no one is cheering. The kind that keeps choosing obedience when results are delayed. The kind that stays soft in a hard world. That is the courage I see in you now, even if you struggle to recognize it. You do not need to become someone louder or bolder or more aggressive to step forward. You only need to remain who you are, willing, attentive and honest before me. So stop waiting for courage to roar. It will not. Listen for it to whisper. It is already present. It has been with you through every step that brought you here. It is present now as you read these words, as your heart tightens slightly, as something in you says, I can do this, even if I am afraid. That voice is courage. Quiet. Firm. Faithful. And it is enough. You do not need to conquer fear to move forward. You only need to refuse to obey it. Courage does not eliminate fear, it outranks it. And when you take this next step, it will not feel triumphant at first. It will feel calm, grounded, curious, like something settling into place. That is courage taking form. Do not dismiss it because it is quiet. Honor it. Follow it. This is how destiny moves forward, not with noise, but with resolve. Stay with me. Your courage is already awake. My child, the quiet courage you carry is the same courage that gives when no one is watching. This is not a loud moment. It is a faithful one, where obedience whispers and moves anyway. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and your giving becomes a seed of fire that awakens hearts you may never meet. If something in you says, I can help, that voice is me calling you into partnership. This message travels farther because of quiet courage like yours. Light spreading from lamp to lamp, soul to soul. I bless your obedience with increase, with peace that guards you, and with provision that will not run dry. Do not wait for the feeling to change. Act now. Give today through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and let your courage speak through generosity. My child, there are things that have been waiting on you. Not because I was withholding them out of reluctance, but because they are activated by obedience. Heaven responds to movement. Not frantic striving, not anxious effort, but faithful action. There are blessings that do not arrive while you are standing still, not because you are unworthy, but because they are designed to meet you in motion. The step you are facing is not just about where you go next. It is about what it unlocks. There are doors connected to doors, outcomes tied to obedience, pathways that only reveal themselves once the first step is taken. You have felt this intuitively. You have sensed that something is on the other side of your yes. That sense is accurate. You are standing at a threshold where movement activates momentum. Waiting has done its work. Preparation has reached its fullness. Now activation requires response. The things that have been waiting are not impatient, but they are poised. Like seeds under the soil. Like doors already unlocked. Like provisions already prepared but not yet claimed. They are not chasing you. They are positioned. And they respond to your obedience, not your intention. Intention is good, but intention alone does not move heaven. Faith expressed through action does. You have wondered why certain things have not shifted yet, why relief has not fully arrived, why clarity has remained partial. And part of the answer is this: some things are not released until you move. Not because I am testing you, but because movement proves trust. Trust is not merely believing that I can act. It is believing enough to respond when I ask you to. This step is a key, and keys are meant to be turned, not admired. You can hold it, study it, polish it, even believe it works, but until you turn it, the door remains closed. The moment you take this step, something will change internally first. The hesitation will loosen. The confusion will thin. The fear will lose some of its grip. That internal shift is the first activation. Then external things will begin to align. Conversations, opportunities, timing, insight. Not all at once, not dramatically, but unmistakably. You will sense movement where there was stillness. You will feel flow where there was friction. That is how you will know you have stepped into alignment. You are not forcing anything to happen. You are simply stepping into what has been waiting for you to arrive. So do not underestimate the power of this moment. This step is not small because it sets things in motion that have been dormant, not dead. Dormant means alive but waiting. Waiting for permission. Waiting for alignment. Waiting for you. You have carried prayers, dreams, callings that felt suspended, as if they were on hold. They were not canceled. They were queued. They were waiting for the signal of obedience. And that signal is your movement now. When you step, heaven moves with you. When you respond, provision responds. When you act in trust, grace activates. This is not pressure. It is partnership. You are not alone in this activation. I am the one who prepared what is waiting. I will meet you in the step, not after it. Hick it, my child. What has been waiting is ready now. My child, I know the fear that sits quietly beneath your hesitation. The fear that if you step forward, you might fall. Not stumble slightly, but truly fall. Fall in front of others. Fall into regret. Fall into a place you cannot climb out of. This fear did not appear from nowhere. It was born in moments when you trusted before and felt the ground shift beneath you. It was shaped by memories where you reached out and were not caught, where you moved forward, and the outcome hurt more than you expected. And because those moments left marks, you taught yourself caution. You learned to test the ground before placing your weight on it. You learned to brace yourself for impact even when nothing had yet gone wrong. But hear me now with clarity and compassion. You will not fall. Not because the path ahead is flawless, but because I am faithful. Falling implies abandonment. Falling implies absence. Falling implies that you are stepping into something unsupported. And that is not what this moment is. I am beneath you. I am around you. I am ahead of you. The ground you are afraid of is not unstable. It is simply unfamiliar. Familiar ground feels safer not because it is strong, but because you have learned where it cracks. Unfamiliar ground feels dangerous because you have not yet tested it. But I have. I am not inviting you into a trap. I am guiding you onto firm footing that has already been measured, prepared, and secured by my hand. You will not fall because I will not step away. You have confused risk with recklessness and trust with naivety. But I am not asking you to abandon wisdom. I am asking you to release the belief that wisdom means immobility. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into order, my order. The order that sometimes looks uncertain from a distance but reveals itself as steady once you move. I know you fear that one wrong move could undo years of healing, growth, and stability. But hear me clearly, what I am calling you into will not erase what you have built. It will build upon it. You are not starting over from nothing. You are carrying forward everything you have learned, everything you have survived, everything you have become. Falling would require you to lose all of that in a moment. And I do not allow my children to be undone so easily. You may feel moments of imbalance as you adjust. You may feel moments of stretching as you grow. But stretching is not falling. Adjusting is not collapsing. Growth often feels unstable before it feels strong. Do not confuse the sensation of movement with the danger of disaster. You are allowed to feel unsure while still being secure. You are allowed to step forward while still holding questions. None of that means you are falling. It means you are learning how to trust me on new ground. So let me speak peace into the place where fear hath been loud. You will not fall because I am attentive. I am not distracted. I am not delayed. I am not distant. I am watching every step you take, not with judgment, but with care. If you stumble, I steady. If you misstep, I correct. If you grow tired, I strengthen. Falling is not the story I am writing over your life. Movement is. Alignment is. Growth is. You have already fallen in the past and survived. You have already endured moments that should have ended you but did not. And now you are stronger, wiser, and more anchored than you were then. This is not the moment you fall. It is the moment you realize you are being held. Trust that. Feel that. Step forward with that assurance. You will not fall, my child. I am here. My child, there comes a moment when delay has fulfilled its purpose. A moment when waiting is no longer wisdom, but avoidance. A moment when patience must give way to movement. You are standing in that moment now. The delay that once protected you has begun to restrain you. The waiting that once shaped you has begun to weigh on you. And I am speaking now not to shame you for waiting, but to release you from it. You were not wrong to pause. You were not wrong to take time. You were not wrong to be careful. Those seasons taught you discernment, humility, and dependence. But seasons change, and what was once obedience can quietly become resistance if held on to too long. The delay ends here, not because time has run out in panic, but because readiness has arrived in peace. You have gathered what you needed. You have learned what you needed. You have healed what you needed to heal. And now, remaining where you are will not bring further growth. It will only prolong uncertainty. The delay ends here because the invitation is clear. The path is open. The next step is known, even if the full journey is not. This is not a harsh ending. It is a gentle release. A hand opening. A breath exhaled. A door finally passed through. You have felt this internally before hearing it spoken. You sensed that something was shifting, that staying put required more effort than moving forward. That is how you know delay has expired. When it takes more energy to remain than to respond, the season has changed. You are not being pushed out. You are being drawn forward. The hesitation you feel now is not because the timing is wrong, but because you are standing at the edge of transition. Endings often feel heavier than beginnings because they require you to let go of what you have learned to rely on. Delay has been familiar. Waiting has been predictable. But familiarity is not calling. And I did not create you to live perpetually in preparation. Preparation exists to lead to participation. Waiting exists to lead to movement. And now, the movement begins. You do not need one more sign. You do not need one more confirmation. You do not need one more round of reassurance. You have heard me. You have felt the nudge. You have recognized the moment. To delay further would not protect you. It would dull you. It would quiet the urgency that is meant to propel you forward. And I love you too much to let that happen. So hear me clearly, my child, as I mark this moment with truth. The delay ends here. Not tomorrow. Not after another season. Not once you feel more confident. Now, this does not mean everything will suddenly move quickly. It means you will. It means your posture changes from waiting to walking. It means you stop circling the threshold and step across it. And as you do, you will feel a release. Not pressure, but relief. The relief of alignment. The relief of obedience. The relief of finally moving with what has been stirring inside you for so long. This is not an ending that takes something from you. It is an ending that gives something back. Momentum, clarity, peace. Let the delay end without guilt. Let it end without regret. Let it end with gratitude for what it taught you and trust for what comes next. I am with you as the delay ends, and I will be with you as the journey continues. Step forward now. We are moving. My child, I need you to understand this with clarity and compassion. The place you are standing in now was never meant to be permanent. It was never designed to be your home, your identity, or your final destination. It was a passage, a process, a preparation, but not a prison. You were meant to pass through this place, not build a life inside it. Yet because you survived here, because you learned how to function here, because you figured out how to breathe and cope and endure here, you began to believe that staying was the safest option. Familiar pain started to feel safer than unfamiliar promise. Predictable discomfort felt easier than uncertain growth. And without realizing it, you began to settle, not because you were satisfied, but because you were tired. I know how subtle that shift was. It did not happen in rebellion. It happened in exhaustion. You did not decide to stop moving forward. You simply stopped believing that movement was possible without cost. But hear me now, my child. Survival is not the same as calling. Endurance is not the same as destiny. What kept you alive here cannot carry you where you are going next. This place served you once, but it cannot sustain you forever. You were never meant to stay here. You have outgrown this place in ways you have not yet fully acknowledged. Your questions have changed. Your hunger has changed. The things that once satisfied you feel hollow now. The rhythms that once felt stable feel restrictive. That discomfort is not restlessness. It is readiness. It is the sign that you are no longer who you were when you first arrived here. You have learned what you needed to learn. You have healed what needed to heal you. You have gathered strength that once felt impossible. And now, remaining here requires you to shrink what has grown. It requires you to quiet what has awakened. It requires you to deny what I have been stirring inside you. I will not ask you to betray your growth in order to maintain comfort. I will not ask you to remain in a place that no longer fits the person you have become. The tension you feel is not because you are ungrateful. It is because you are being called forward. Staying would require more effort than leaving now. That is how you know it is time. When remaining costs more than obedience, the season has changed. So let me release you from the false loyalty you feel toward this place. You are not dishonoring what it gave you by leaving it. You are honoring it by recognizing that its purpose has been fulfilled. You do not owe stagnation your future simply because it once protected you. You do not owe fear your obedience simply because it once kept you safe. I am not calling you away from gratitude. I am calling you toward growth. You can bless the ground that held you without staying planted in soil that can no longer nourish you. This is not abandonment. It is advancement. This is not recklessness. It is response. You were never meant to stay here, my child. You were meant to learn here, grow here, and then move. And now, the time to move has arrived. Stay with me as we step forward together. The next place is ready. My child, there is something inside you that you have been second-guessing for far too long. A knowing, a discernment, a quiet conviction that does not chop but does not leave easy. I placed it there intentionally. It is not impulse. It is not imagination. It is not emotion masquerading as truth. It is wisdom formed through experience and guided by my spirit. But you have learned to distrust yourself because others once dismissed you, because you once misjudged a situation, because you once followed your heart and were hurt. So you told yourself that inner knowing could not be trusted, that intuition was dangerous, that discernment was unreliable. And instead of refining it, you silenced it. Instead of testing it with me, you ignored it. But hear me now. What I placed inside you is not your enemy. It is a gift that matured through pain, patience, and prayer. You do not need to suppress it. You need to trust it again, with me at the center. I do not guide my children only through external signs. I guide them through inward alignment. And what you are sensing now, the pull forward, the clarity about what must change, the certainty that delay no longer fits, is not random. It is the fruit of growth. You have asked me for guidance, and part of my answer has been developing your ability to recognize my leading within yourself. Not apart from me, but with me. You are not being asked to rely on your instincts alone. You are being invited to partner with my spirit who lives within you. That is why your discernment feels steadier now than it did before. That is why your decisions feel heavier but clearer. That is why your conscience speaks with more authority. You are not who you were when you last made a mistake. You are not who you were when you last misjudged a door. You are wiser now. Slower. More grounded. Less reactive. More attentive. That growth did not happen by accident. It happened because I was shaping your inner compass so you could walk forward without constant external validation. You do not need permission from everyone to obey me. You do not need consensus to move in alignment. You need trust. Trust in me, and trust in what I have formed inside you through relationship with me. So stop dismissing the clarity you already have. Stop waiting for a louder voice when the quiet one has been consistent. Stop asking for confirmation after confirmation when peace has already settled. Trust does not mean you will never question. It means you will no longer ignore what you know. You are not guessing anymore. You are discerning. You are not rushing. You are responding. And I am pleased with the way you have grown into this moment. Trust what I have placed inside you, my child. It hath been tested. It has been refined. It has been aligned. And it will not lead you away from me. It will lead you with me. Stay close. The path ahead is opening as you walk. My child, I will not lie to you or soften the truth to make this moment easier. The cost is real. Stepping forward will cost you comfort. It will cost you familiarity. It may cost you approval from those who preferred you predictable, quiet, and contained. It may cost you old versions of yourself that learned how to survive by staying small. And because you are honest with yourself, you already know this. That is why your heart has been heavy. That is why you have hesitated. You are not naive. You understand that obedience is not free. But hear me now with equal clarity. The reward is just as real, just as weighty, just as certain. The cost is temporary. The reward is transformative. The cost asks something from you. The reward gives something back that you cannot create on your own. The cost is what you release. The reward is what you receive. And what you receive will not merely replace what you let go of. It will redefine what you thought you needed. You have been weighing the cost carefully, replaying the what-ifs, counting the risks, imagining the losses. But you have not yet fully considered the cost of staying where you are. Staying will cost you growth. Staying will cost you momentum. Staying will cost you peace that comes from alignment. Staying will quietly cost you joy, purpose, and the fullness of what I have prepared. The cost of obedience is visible. The cost of disobedience is subtle. One asks for courage now, the other demands regret later. And I love you too much to let you trade long-term fulfillment for short-term comfort without speaking truth into your heart. You have learned to be careful because carelessness once hurt you. You have learned to protect what you have because losing things once wounded you deeply. So when I speak of reward, you instinctively guard yourself, wondering if the price is too high, if the exchange is worth it. But my child, I am not a negotiator who tricks you into bad trades. I do not ask you to surrender without provision. I do not call you forward without promise. The reward I speak of is not shallow success or fleeting relief. It is alignment. It is peace that does not depend on circumstances. It is clarity that steadies you even when the path is still unfolding. It is the deep satisfaction of knowing you responded when I called. That satisfaction cannot be bought, borrowed, or manufactured. It only comes from obedience. And once it settles in your spirit, it changes how you walk, how you decide, how you endure. The reward is not just what happens around you, it is what happens within you. You will carry yourself differently. You will trust yourself differently. You will trust me differently. And yes, there may be losses along the way, but what is lost will be what no longer fits who you are becoming. I am not stripping you. I am refining you. I am not taking from you. I am making room in you. So let me reframe this moment for you, my child. You are not choosing between safety and danger. You are choosing between familiarity and fulfillment. You are not choosing between comfort and chaos. You are choosing between what you know and what I know is possible. The cost is real, but so is the reward. And the reward is not vague. It is not imaginary. It is already forming, already aligning, already waiting for your response. You do not have to minimize the cost to move forward. You only need to trust that the reward outweighs it. I would not ask you to release something if I were not prepared to give you something greater in return. Stay with me. This exchange is holy, and it will be worth it. My child, this moment is not a demand. It is an invitation. I am not forcing you forward. I am not dragging you into obedience. Love never forces. Love invites. And that is what I am doing now, inviting you into alignment, into movement, into the next chapter of your life with me. Invitations carry dignity. They respect your agency. They honor your readiness. And they require a response. You can accept an invitation, or you can decline it, but you cannot pretend it was never offered. This invitation has come quietly, persistently, lovingly. It has returned to your heart again and again, not to pressure you, but to remain available. And now, it stands before you clearly. This is your invitation to step forward, not as someone scrambling to prove themselves, but as someone responding to love. Not as someone desperate for change, but as someone ready for alignment. This invitation is not for everyone. Many will hear similar words and move on unchanged. But for you, it lands differently because it meets a readiness that has been forming for a long time. I am not asking for perfection. I am not asking for confidence without fear. I am asking for willingness, for openness, for a simple yes that says, I trust you enough to move. I know invitations can feel risky because once accepted, they change things. You cannot unknow what you know. You cannot unstep what you step into. That is why part of you has wanted to delay responding, to keep the invitation open without committing. But invitations are not meant to remain open indefinitely. Not as punishment, but as reality. Moments have timing. Windows have seasons. And this invitation carries the weight of now. Not frantic urgency, but sacred immediacy. You are ready now in a way you were not before. And I am speaking now because delay would begin to dull what is alive in you. This invitation is not about pressure. It is about presence. My presence with you as you move. My presence ahead of you as you step. My presence within you as you choose. You are not responding to a concept or an idea. You are responding to me. And I will honor your response, whatever it is. But I want you to know what accepting this invitation will do. It will shift your posture from waiting to walking, from questioning to trusting, from surviving to participating. It will not remove all uncertainty, but it will remove stagnation. It will not silence every fear, but it will establish direction. So here it is, my child, spoken plainly and gently. This is your invitation. To step, to trust, and move with me into what comes next. You do not need to be louder. You do not need to be stronger. You do not need to be someone else. You only need to be willing. Invitations are answered one step at a time. And the first step is simply saying yes, not loudly, not grammatically, but sincerely. Yes to movement. Yes to alignment. Yes to growth. Yes to trusting me more than your fear. Take the invitation. It was prepared for you, and I will walk with you every step of the way. My child, do not imagine this step as something you must take alone, bracing yourself against uncertainty, forcing courage out of an empty place. That is not how I am asking you to move. I am asking you to take the step with me. Not ahead of me, not behind me, not trying to impress me, but with me. Side by side, breath by breath, step by step. I know you have learned to move independently because you had to. You learned not to rely too heavily on anyone because disappointment taught you caution. You learned to carry yourself because others dropped you. But this moment is different. This step is different. This is not a test of your independence. It is an invitation into companionship. When I say take the step, I am not saying figure everything out. I am saying stay close. Do not measure the distance ahead. Do not calculate the entire path. Do not demand a map for every turn. Walking with me has never required full visibility. It has always required trust. The reason this step feels intimidating is because you are trying to imagine it without me. But I am already there. I am already present in the place you are about to enter. I am already aware of what will challenge you, what will stretch you, what will bless you. And I am not sending you forward while I remain behind. I am walking with you into it. When you move, I move. When you pause, I pause. When you stumble, I steady. This step is not a leap into the unknown. It is a movement into deeper fellowship. That is why I am asking you not to rush, but not to retreat either. Just walk with me. I know you want reassurance that everything will work out perfectly, that there will be no pain, no resistance, no moments of doubt. But walking with me has never meant a life without challenge. It has meant a life without abandonment. There will be moments ahead where you feel stretched, where the ground feels unfamiliar, where old fears try to resurface. But those moments will not catch me by surprise. I will be there before you feel them, speaking peace where fear tries to rise, offering wisdom where confusion tries to settle. Taking the step with me means you do not have to carry the outcome. You do not have to manage the future. You do not have to prove your worth through success. Your responsibility is presence. Stay present with me. Listen when I whisper. Pause when I ask you to pause. Move when I say move. You have tried to do life by anticipation, anticipating problems, anticipating disappointment, anticipating loss. But I am calling you into participation instead. Participation in relationship. Participation in obedience. Participation in trust. When you take this step with me, you will feel the difference almost immediately. The fear will not vanish, but it will no longer dominate. The questions will not disappear, but they will lose their power to paralyze you. You will sense that you are no longer carrying everything alone. That is the peace of walking with me. So let me simplify this for you, my child, because you have complicated it out of fear of getting it wrong. You are not being graded on performance. You are not being evaluated on precision. You are being invited into closeness. Take the step with me, not bravely, not loudly, not perfectly, but faithfully. One step, one movement, one yes, and then another. You do not need to be strong enough for the whole journey. You only need to be present for the next step. I will supply the strength as you go. I will supply the clarity as you need it. I will supply the peace when anxiety tries to intrude. This is how we move forward, together. Stay close. Take the step with me. My child, we have come to the place where everything narrows, where the conversation quiets, where the noise fades, where the moment becomes unmistakably clear. One final step awaits you, not because it is the last step you will ever take, but because it is the step that changes everything that follows. This is the step that moves you from contemplation into obedience, from waiting into walking, from hoping into trusting. It is final in the sense that once taken, you cannot return to who you were before. Something settles. Something aligns. Something shifts permanently inside you. And I know that finality feels heavy. You have learned to keep doors slightly open, options available, exits visible. Final steps require surrender. They ask you to release the illusion of control. They ask you to stop rehearsing and start responding. And that is why this step has your full attention. This is not a casual moment. This is not an ordinary decision. This is a threshold moment, where your past releases you and your future receives you. Everything you have endured has led here. Every delay refined you for this moment. Every tear prepared you for this step. And now it stands before you, not threatening, not demanding, but waiting. You may be tempted to believe that this step is too simple to carry such weight. But simplicity often carries the greatest authority. One word spoken in truth can change a life. One act of obedience can redirect a destiny. One step can break years of stagnation. Do not underestimate what I am asking of you, and do not exaggerate it either. This step does not require you to become someone else. It requires you to be fully present as who you are now. The person who has learned. The person who has endured. The person who has listened. The person who has grown. That person is ready. You are ready. Not because you feel fearless, but because you are willing. Not because everything makes sense, but because you trust me more than your confusion. This is the step where faith becomes visible, not to others necessarily, but to you. You will know when you take it. You will feel the release. You will sense the shift. You will recognize the peace that follows obedience. It will not be dramatic. It will be deep. It will be steady. It will be real. So hear me now, my beloved, as I speak this final truth over you. Do not miss this moment. Not because I will abandon you if you hesitate, but because this moment is a gift. A gift of clarity. A gift of alignment. A gift of forward movement. You have come too far to turn back now. You have grown too much to settle now. One final step awaits you. Not into chaos. Not into loss. Not into regret. But into the next chapter we will walk together. Take it. With me. Now, my beloved, you stand at the threshold, and generosity is the step that unlocks what comes next. This is not pressure. This is alignment, where faith becomes visible through action. Bring the whole offering, and see if I will not open the windows of heaven, for this step releases more than resources. It releases momentum. I am inviting you now. Step forward with me and help carry this word to those waiting for their own turning point. What you give today becomes seed in my hand, and I breathe multiplication, covering, and favor over it. Do not miss this appointed moment. Take the step now. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and walk with me into what is next. My child, do not let this moment pass without response. If your heart knows this word was for you, declare it boldly in the comments. I am taking the final step. Write it not for others to see, but as a witness before heaven that you choose movement over delay. As you type it, let your spirit agree with what I have spoken, and let fear lose its grip. This is your mark in time, your quiet yes made visible. Do not scroll past your destiny. Step into it, and say it now. And now that you said yes, pause. You don't have to rush forward just yet. The step you just declared wasn't about speed, it was about honesty. I know how much strength it took to even say those words. Before we move any further, I want you to rest in my awareness of you because I have seen every mile you've walked. My child, stop for a moment. Just stop. Pause right now where you are. I want you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes and breathe in my presence. Exhale that heavy weight you have been carrying on your shoulders. I know you are tired. I see the weariness that has settled deep into your bones, deeper than any sleep can fix. I see the dust on your feet from a road that feels like it has no end. You have been walking for so long, and I know that sometimes you wonder if anyone has even noticed how hard you have been trying. I have noticed. I have watched every single step you have taken in this wilderness. I was there when you kept moving even though you wanted to quit. I was there in those quiet, lonely moments in your car, gripping the steering wheel, wondering how you were going to make it through another month. I saw the tears you wiped away quickly so your family wouldn't see them. I heard the silent prayers you screamed in your heart while you were smiling at work, pretending everything was fine. I know about the pressure at your job that feels like it is crushing you. I see the tension in your home that you don't talk about. I know the fear of the future that wakes you up at 3:00 a.m. and stares at the ceiling with you. You feel like you have been walking in circles, don't you? You feel like you keep passing the same problems, the same struggles, the same frustrations over and over again. It feels like a trap. It feels like failure. But I need you to hear me clearly today. You are not walking in circles. You are climbing a mountain. When you climb a mountain, you go around and around, and the scenery looks the same, but you are at a higher elevation. You are not the same person you were when you started this climb. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are more resilient. I am validating your struggle right now. Do not hate the path you have traveled. Do not despise the rough road. It was necessary. I know it hurt. I know it was lonely. But I was using that wilderness to clear your vision. I was using those hard days to build a strength inside you that nothing can break. You think you have wasted time, but I tell you, I do not waste anything. Every tear, every confusion, every delay, I have held it all in my hands. Listen to my voice. You are not lost. I know it feels dark. I know the map doesn't make sense to you anymore. But you are not lost. You are positioned. You are exactly where I need you to be for what is coming next. You are standing at the edge of something new, even if the fog is too thick to see it yet. I have guided you here. My hand has been on your back, gently pushing you forward even when you felt abandoned. I never abandoned you. I never looked away. So let your heart calm down. Let that knot in your stomach untie itself. You do not have to figure it all out today. You just need to know that I am here. I am with you. I am proud of you for keeping going. You have survived the wilderness. You have survived the storm. And now, I want you to rest in the certainty that I know exactly where you are, and I have a plan to bring you out. You are safe with me. Let my peace wash over you like a warm blanket. You have made it this far. Trust me just a little longer. My child, listen closely to what I am about to tell you, for this is where so many of my precious ones lose their way. I am not speaking of those who turn back to the darkness. I am speaking of those who stop just outside the light. I see you eyeing the ground right where you are. I see you looking at the patch of earth beneath your feet and thinking, this is good enough. I can survive here. It is safe here. You are tempted to pitch your tent on the very border of the promised land I have prepared for you. You are so close that if the wind were right, you could smell the milk and honey, yet your exhaustion is whispering that you cannot take another step. I know you are tired. The enemy knows it too. That is why the weariness feels so heavy right now. It is not a coincidence that the greatest exhaustion has hit you right before your greatest victory. The opposition has intensified because you are approaching the threshold. The enemy does not waste his ammunition on those who are not a threat. He attacks you because you are about to cross over. If you stop now, you are settling for a compromise. You are choosing a life of almost and nearly instead of the fullness I died to give you. Do not mistake a temporary pause for a permanent dwelling place. This spot where you are standing was meant to be a place to catch your breath, not a place to build your home. I am urging you, with all the love of a father who sees what you cannot see, do not retire your faith prematurely. Comfort is the silent enemy of the calling I have placed upon your life. Comfort says, stay here where it is predictable. Comfort says, why risk more pain? But I say to you, the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. If you settle now, you will spend the rest of your days wondering what would have happened if you had taken that one last step. You will look across the river and see the destiny that was yours, and you will weep because you traded it for a moment of ease. Rise up inside your spirit. Shake off the dust of complacency. I did not bring you through the fire and the flood just to leave you on the outskirts of your destiny. I have more for you than just survival. I have abundance. I have impact. I have a legacy that will outlive you. But you cannot possess it if you stay parked in the place of good enough. I am calling you to my best. Resist the urge to settle. Resist the heavy eyelids of spiritual slumber. Look at me. Look into my eyes. I am the author and the finisher of your faith, and I am telling you, we are not finished yet. The air around you is filled with noise, isn't it? I know how loud the world can be. I know how loud your own thoughts can be when you are lying in bed at night, staring into the darkness. There is a battle raging for your attention, a war for your ear. The enemy is whispering to you right now. He is subtle. He doesn't always shout. Sometimes he sounds just like your own logic. He whispers, the final step is too high. You don't have the resources. You're going to fail, and everyone will watch you fall. He asks you questions designed to paralyze you. What if you're wrong? What if God isn't speaking? What if you lose everything? My child, you must learn to discern the difference between the chaotic noise of the enemy and the stillness of my voice. My voice does not bring confusion. It brings peace. Even when I ask you to do something difficult, even when I call you into the unknown, underneath the fear of the flesh, there is a deep, resonating peace in your spirit. My voice speaks courage, not panic. My voice confirms your identity. The enemy's voice attacks it. When you hear a voice that tells you that you are unworthy, that you are a mistake, that you are forgotten, you bind that lie instantly, for it did not come from my throne. I ask you today, do you trust me? Doubt asks, what if you fail? But faith asks, who is holding me? You must silence the noise of the world to hear my specific instruction. You cannot navigate this next season by polling your friends or scrolling through social media. You need to get quiet with me. You need to shut the door, turn off the screens, and sit in my presence until the muddy waters of your mind clear. Recognize this truth. Fear is often a sign that you are attacking the enemy's territory. If you were walking in the wrong direction, the enemy would not bother you. The fact that you feel resistance is proof that you are moving toward something valuable. He is trying to roar like a lion to scare you back, but he has no teeth. I have given you the spirit of discernment. Use it. Separate the lies from the truth. When a thought comes, hold it up to the light of my word. Does it look like love? Does it look like power? Does it sound like a sound mind? If not, cast it down. I am speaking to you. I am guiding you. My sheep know my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. Tune your heart to my frequency. I am speaking peace to your storm. We are approaching a narrow gate, my beloved. The path I am taking you on is widening into a glorious destiny, but the entrance is small. You cannot walk through this narrow gate while you are carrying those wide burdens on your back. I look at you and I see you dragging the heavy suitcases of your past. You are trying to move forward, but you are tethered to what lies behind. You cannot run the race I have marked out for you while you are holding on to the weight of yesterday. I am speaking specifically about the failure you are still punishing yourself for. You know the one. The mistake you made 5 years ago. The relationship you couldn't save. The job you lost. You are replaying it in your mind, over and over, asking what if, and if only. You must drop it. You must release the should-haves of yesterday. I have forgiven you, so why have you not forgiven yourself? Your guilt is a chain that keeps you circling the same mountain. It is time to break it. And I speak to you now about unforgiveness. There are names etched in your heart, people who hurt you, people who betrayed you. Holding on to that anger feels like protection, but it is poison. Unforgiveness is a heavy anchor that will keep your ship from sailing into the new waters I have for you. I am not asking you to say what they did was right. I am asking you to trust me enough to be the judge so you can be free. You cannot embrace the new season if your hands are full of old hurts. I am calling you to a deep, spiritual decluttering. This is a transition. When you move to a new home, you do not bring the trash with you. Why would you bring the trash of your past into your future? I am asking you to travel light. I want your hands free, not to fight but to receive. I have gifts waiting for you. I have new mantles, new anointings, new opportunities. But if you are clutching the dead weight of the past, you cannot catch what I am throwing. Pause now. Visualize those burdens. Name them. The regret, the bitterness, the shame. Now, visualize yourself setting them down at my feet. Leave them there. Do not pick them up again when you finish this prayer. Walk away. Walk through the gate. You are lighter now. You are ready. Do not be alarmed by the silence you feel right now. I know it feels strange. You have been crying out, and it seems like the heavens are made of brass. You feel isolated, perhaps even ignored. You ask, Lord, where are you? Why is nothing happening? My child, listen to me. I am not ignoring you. I am preparing the atmosphere for your arrival. Think of the ocean. Just before a massive wave crashes onto the shore, the water pulls back. There is a moment of eerie calm, a suspension of movement. That is where you are. This is a holy pause. It is the deep breath before the plunge. Silence is not absence. It is often the loudest form of my presence. I am working in the invisible realm, arranging things that you cannot see, shifting hearts, aligning resources, and setting the stage for a breakthrough that will sweep you off your feet. You must learn to stand still without moving backward. This is a test of your maturity. Children panic when the parent leaves the room. The mature son or daughter knows the father is just in the next room, working on their behalf. Trust in my character even when you cannot trace my hand. You know who I am. You know I am good. You know I am faithful. Let that knowledge sustain you when your feelings are screaming that you are alone. I am quieting you with my love. I am teaching you to rest. In the busyness of your life, in the constant striving, you would miss the subtle shift that is about to happen. I need you quiet so you can hear the sound of the abundance of rain before the first drop falls. Do not fill the silence with anxious chatter or busy work. Wait. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Let your roots go down deep during this drought, for the rain is coming, and when it comes, it will not stop. I am here. I am closer than your breath. Feel my presence in the stillness. I have not left you. I am just getting things ready for you. My child, do not turn away now. We have only just begun to unravel the knots in your spirit. If you close your heart to this conversation, you are walking away from the very breakthrough I have prepared for you. It deeply grieves my heart to see you stop when I have so much more to give. Do not choose the noise of the world over the comfort of my voice. Stay with me. The next word I speak is the key you have been searching for. We have reached a critical moment in our conversation, my child. This is the checkpoint. This next step, the one that leads to the promise, is not about your ability. It is not about how smart you are, how talented you are, or how hard you can work. It is about your availability. It is about your surrender. I am looking at your hands, and I see you are gripping the steering wheel of your life so tightly that your knuckles are white. You are afraid that if you let go, everything will crash. I am requiring you to let go. I'm asking for your plan B. You know what I mean. That safety net you have kept tucked away just in case I don't come through. That backup plan is an idol. It tells me that you trust your own maneuvering more than my sovereignty. You cannot walk on water if you keep one foot in the boat. Surrender is not giving up. It is giving over control to the one who knows the end from the beginning. I see the fear. You are afraid of losing your identity. You are afraid that if you yield to me completely, you will lose yourself. But I tell you the truth. You must be willing to lose your life to find it. The life you are clinging to is a shadow compared to the life I have for you. Control is an illusion, my child. You never really had it. But my sovereignty is your reality. I hold the stars in place. Surely I can hold your life together. I am asking for your whole heart, not just the parts you can manage. I want the messy parts. I want the fears. I want the dreams you are too scared to say out loud. Open your hands. Open them wide. Say it with me. I surrender. Feel the release. When you have nothing left to protect, you have nothing left to fear. I can do more with your surrender than you can do with your control. Trust me with the keys. Move out of the driver's seat. Let me take you places you never dared to dream. This is the way to glory. This is the way to peace. Let go. My child, I want you to turn around. Physically, mentally, spiritually. Turn your eyes away from the mountain that is looming in front of you and look back at the path we have already walked. You are so consumed by the obstacle of today that you have developed spiritual amnesia about the victories of yesterday. You look at this new bill, this new diagnosis, this new conflict, and you panic as if we are strangers. You act as if I have never come through for you before. But look at your history. Look at the trail behind you. It is paved with my faithfulness. It is marked with the stones of my intervention. I command you to remember. Do you recall the time when you saw no way out? Do you remember when the walls were closing in, and you thought, this is the end? You thought you would go under. You thought shame would swallow you whole. But here you are. You are still standing. You are still breathing. Who do you think sustained you? Who do you think parted that Red Sea for you? It was not your cleverness. It was not your luck. It was my hand, moving the unmovable, making a highway in the middle of the deep waters just for you. Recall the times I provided manna when you saw no resources. You looked at your bank account, and the math did not add up. You looked at the cupboard, and it was bare. You felt the cold grip of scarcity tightening around your chest. But somehow, the ends met. Somehow, the check arrived. Somehow, the favor was granted. I fed you in the wilderness. I brought water from the rock. Why would I sustain you through all those years only to let you starve now at the edge of the promise? Do you think I brought you this far to abandon you? That is not my character. I am the Alpha and the Omega. What I start, I finish. Your history with me is the fuel for your future destiny. The enemy wants you to forget because if you forget what I did then, you will not have the faith for what I am about to do now. But I am calling you to build an altar of remembrance in your heart today. Right now. I want you to list them. Name the times I saved you. Name the accident that didn't happen. Name the door that opened when you didn't have the key. Name the night I held you when your heart was breaking. When David stood before Goliath, he did not speak of the giant's size. He spoke of the lion and the bear he had already defeated. He used his memory of my past faithfulness to fuel his courage for the present battle. You must do the same. This giant you are facing, he is no different than the lion. He is no different than the bear. The same God who delivered you then is the same God standing with you now. I have not changed. My arm has not grown short. My power has not diminished. Gratitude for yesterday unlocks the faith for today's step. Stop complaining about the problem and start thanking me for the solution that is already on its way. Shift your perspective. When you remember who I have been, you will know who I will be. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. Let the memories of my goodness flood your mind until there is no room left for fear. I carried you then. I am carrying you now. And I will carry you all the way home. We are standing at the gate now, my brave one. And I know what you see. You see the giants. You see the obstacles that look insurmountable. You see the reasons why it can't be done. The final step often looks like the most intimidating one because the enemy guards the territory that is most valuable. If the land wasn't worth anything, there would be no giants guarding it. The opposition you are facing is not a sign to turn back. It is proof that your territory is valuable. It is confirmation that you are going in the right direction. Like the spies in Canaan, you have a choice. You can look at the giants and see yourself as a grasshopper, small and insignificant, waiting to be crushed. Or you can look at the giants through my eyes. I do not see giants. I see grasshoppers. I see bread for you. I see an enemy that has already been defeated in the spiritual realm, waiting for you to enforce that victory in the natural realm. Do not let the size of the problem distort your view of the size of your God. The enemy whispers that you are too small, too weak, too uneducated, too broken to take this land. He tells you that you don't belong here, that you are an imposter. I rebuke that lie right now. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. The trembling you feel, that is just your flesh. Your spirit is ready. Your spirit is equipped with the same power that raised Christ from the dead. You are not a grasshopper. You are a giant slayer. You are a conqueror. Listen to me. You do not fight for victory. You fight from a position of victory. The battle has already been won. The contract is signed in my blood. The deed to the land is in your name. All that is left is for you to displace the squatter who is trying to convince you he owns it. You must stand your ground. You must square your shoulders. You must look that giant in the eye, whether that giant is debt, or addiction, or a broken marriage, or a sickness, and you must declare, "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." Stand your ground, for the battle belongs to the Lord. You think you have to figure out the strategy. You think you have to have the strength to swing the sword. Oh, you just need the obedience to show up. You show up, and I will show off. I will confuse the enemy's camp. I will cause them to turn on each other. I will send the hornets before you to drive them out. But you must face them. You cannot run away and expect to possess the promise. You have to walk toward the roar. I am commanding you today, do not retreat. Do not apologize for your presence. Do not shrink back. This is your inheritance. I gave it to you. Now, take that final step and claim it. The giant is falling. The ground is shaking. And you are about to walk on the high places I have prepared for you. My child, look at the boat you are sitting in. It feels comfortable, doesn't it? It has sides that protect you from the waves. It has a floor that keeps you dry. It is filled with people who are content to stay exactly where they are. It represents your logic, your safety nets, your common sense, and the expectations of everyone around you. But I am not in the boat. I am out here on the waves. And if you want to be where I am, you are going to have to leave the safety of the boat. This step will require you to leave the known for the unknown. Logic will tell you that water cannot hold your weight. Physics will tell you that you will sink and drown. Your friends in the boat will tell you that you are crazy, that you are taking a risk that makes no sense. But faith tells you to look at me. Faith ignores the laws of physics when the creator of physics calls your name. The supernatural only happens when you step out of the natural. You cannot experience a miracle while you are clinging to the safety of the manageable. I am calling you to a realm where only my grace sustains you. I am calling you to a place where your bank account isn't enough, your education isn't enough, and your connections aren't enough. I am calling you to the deep water where, if I don't catch you, you go under. That sounds terrifying to your flesh, but to your spirit, it is the only place you will ever truly feel alive. You were not made to huddle in the boat of mediocrity, you were made to walk on the water of impossibility. I know the storm is raging. I see the wind. I see the waves crashing. The enemy is using the storm to distract you. He wants you to look at the bills, look at the report, look at the conflict. He knows that if you look at the storm, you will sink. But I am commanding you, keep your eyes locked on my face. Do not look to the left or to the right. Do not look down at your feet. Look at me. As long as your gaze is fixed on my eyes, the water will become like concrete beneath your feet. This is where your theology becomes your reality. It is easy to sing songs about trusting me when the sun is shining and the boat is steady. It is another thing entirely to step over the railing when the wind is screaming. But this is the test. This is the moment. I am extending my hand to you. I am saying, come. Will you step out? Will you trust me more than you trust the wood beneath your feet? Do not fear the sinking. Even if your faith falters, even if you begin to slip, I'm right here. I will catch you. I will not let the waters overwhelm you. But you have to take the step. You have to get your feet wet. You have to leave the crowd behind to meet me in the miraculous. Come out to the deep. The water is fine, as long as you are with me. My precious one, we need to talk about your family. We need to talk about the bloodline you come from. I know the history. I know the secrets that are whispered at family gatherings. I know the patterns that seem to repeat themselves generation after generation. The anger, the addiction, the poverty, the divorce, the depression. You look at your own life, and sometimes you see the same shadows creeping in. You fear that you are destined to become just like those who came before you. You fear that your children will inherit the same struggles. But listen to me with every ounce of your spirit. This stops with you. This final step you are taking is not just for you. It is for your children's children. You are a cycle breaker. You are the one I have chosen to stand in the gap and say, no more. You are breaking chains that have held your bloodline captive for centuries. The resistance is so strong because the legacy is so significant. The enemy is not just fighting you. He is fighting the generations that are tucked inside of you. He is trying to keep the curse alive, but my blood is stronger than any curse. I am using this moment to rewrite your family's history. You are the pioneer I have chosen for this specific time. A pioneer's job is hard. They have to cut through the thicket. They have to clear the rocks. They have to build the road so that those who come after them can walk on smooth ground. You are taking the hits now so your children won't have to. You are fighting the demons now so your grandchildren will live in peace. Do not resent the battle. You are purchasing freedom for your lineage. Your obedience today liberates generations coming after you. When you choose faith over fear, you are changing your DNA. When you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you are altering the spiritual atmosphere of your home. You are digging a new well. It is hard work. It is exhausting work. But I am with you. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am a generational God. I think in terms of lineage. And I am telling you that the buck stops here. Do not let the enemy convince you that this is just how my family is. That is a lie. Your family is what I say it is. Your family is a royal priesthood. Your family is blessed. You must reject the inheritance of brokenness and claim the inheritance of the kingdom. Stand tall, my child. The chains are falling. The cycle is breaking. The demons of the past are trembling because they see me standing next to you, and they know their time is up. You are setting a new standard. You are building a new foundation. Walk in this freedom, not just for you, but for the little ones watching you. They will walk in the light you are kindling today. My child, just as you are breaking chains for your bloodline, I call you to help break the chains of darkness for others. When you sow into this ministry, you are not merely giving money. You are sending my deliverance to souls who are still trapped in the wilderness. As you plant a seed of support through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link today, you are declaring that my word is valuable enough to save a generation. Remember, he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. This is your moment to activate that spiritual law. I see your heart to help. Now let your hand release the seed that shifts the atmosphere for someone else. Do not hold back the resources I have placed in your care, for they are seeds meant for a global harvest. Click the link or the heart button to partner with me in this rescue mission. Bless the work that feeds your spirit, and watch how I multiply the bread in your own house. Pause. Do not dare silence my voice now. We are in the middle of a spiritual surgery that is designed to liberate your entire bloodline. To stop listening now would be to leave the wound open and the chains intact. Do not disappoint the generations that are counting on your breakthrough. I am ready to go deeper. Are you? Do not grieve my spirit by choosing distraction over your destiny. Listen closely to what comes next. I know it burns, my child. I know the heat has been turned up in your life recently. I know you feel like you are being cooked, pressured, and squeezed from every side. You have cried out to me asking, why? Why is this happening? Have I done something wrong? Are you punishing me? Hear my whisper in the flames. You are not being punished. You are being purified. The heat has been turned up because the gold is almost pure, and I am finishing the work. I am the refiner. You are the gold. In order for gold to be valuable, in order for it to shine with brilliance, it must go through the fire. The fire separates the gold from the dross, the impurities, the dirt, the cheap metals that weaken it. I am burning away the dross of pride. I am burning away self-reliance. I am burning away the love of the world, the need for approval, and the idols you didn't even know you had. It is a painful process, I know. It involves loss. It involves stripping away the things you thought you needed. But this process produces an imperishable beauty. I am not destroying you. I am revealing you. I am bringing out the true you, the you I created before the world put its layers of dirt on you. Do not run from the fire. Do not try to escape the process prematurely. If you jump out of the fire before the work is done, you will remain unrefined. You will remain weak. I want you strong. I want you pure. I want you to be a vessel that can carry the heavy weight of my glory without cracking. I am with you in the furnace. Look around. You are not burning alone. Just like the 3 Hebrew boys, there is a 4th man in the fire with you. I am holding your hand while the flames lick around you. The fire can consume your comfort. but it cannot consume you. It will only burn the ropes that bind you. You will walk out of this season loose, free, and shining. I am refining your character to match your coming assignment. The level of promotion I have for you requires a level of character that you did not have yesterday. If I put you on the throne before you are ready, the weight of it would crush you. I love you too much to promote you before you are prepared. So embrace the heat, embrace the crushing. It is making you into oil. It is making you into wine. Holiness is the prerequisite for the level of glory you are entering. I am cleaning your hands and purifying your heart. I am making you look like me. Do you know how the refiner knows the gold is ready? When he can look into the molten metal and see his own reflection clearly. That is what I am doing. I am keeping you in the fire until I can see my face in you. When you react with love instead of anger, I see my reflection. When you choose peace instead of panic, I see my reflection. Hold on. The process is almost over. You are coming out as pure gold. My child, I need you to put down the calendar. I see you looking at the dates. I see you calculating the years. You are looking at where you are, and then you are looking at where you thought you would be by now, and the gap between the two is filling you with anxiety. You feel late. You feel like the parade has passed you by, and you are left standing on the sidewalk sweeping up the confetti. You compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You worry that you have missed your window of opportunity. But hear me clearly. In my kingdom, you are not late. You are exactly right on time. You live in Chronos time, ticking seconds, minutes, and hours. I live in Kairos time, the appointed time, the perfect moment. My clock does not tick like yours. I do not wear a watch. I am the one who turns the sun and the moon. I hold time in the palm of my hand. When I decide it is time for a thing to happen, I can do in a single day what you have been trying to do for 10 years. You must understand that my delays are not denials. They are divine setups. You think I am holding out on you, but I am actually protecting you. If I had given you what you wanted when you wanted it, it would have destroyed you. You were not ready. The character was not there. The foundation was not deep enough to hold the weight of the blessing. I have been growing your root system in the dark so that your fruit can remain in the light. Patience is not just waiting. Patience is the work of letting patience have its perfect work. It is an act of trust. Rushing the process is dangerous. Remember Abraham. He tried to help me out. He tried to speed up the promise, and the result was Ishmael. Ishmael caused conflict that lasted for generations. But waiting produced Isaac, the child of the promise. Do not birth an Ishmael because you are too impatient to wait for your Isaac. Do not settle for a man-made solution when a God-given miracle is on its way. I know you grieve the time you think you have lost. You look back at the years the locusts ate, the years of addiction, the years of depression, the years of wandering. And I say to you, I am the Redeemer of time. I can restore the years the locusts have eaten. I can accelerate your season. I can bring you into a harvest so great that the reaper will overtake the sower. Rest in the knowledge that my clock is perfect. Stop striving. Stop trying to force open doors that I have shut for your protection. Stop trying to manipulate circumstances to fit your timeline. Surrender your schedule to me. Trust that if I said it, I will do it, and I will do it at the precise moment when it brings the most glory to my name and the most good to your life. Reem, you are not behind. You are in my hands. We are going deeper now. This next step requires something from you that costs you something. It requires radical obedience. I am not talking about the easy things. I am not talking about going to church when you feel like it or being kind when it is convenient. I am talking about doing the thing that makes absolutely no sense to your natural mind. I am talking about the instruction that makes your logic scream no. Partial obedience is still disobedience in my eyes. If I tell you to go 10 miles and you go 9, you have not obeyed. If I tell you to forgive everyone and you forgive everyone except that one person, you are still carrying the chain. I am looking for a yes without conditions. I am looking for a heart that says, Lord, if you say it, that settles it, even if you don't understand the why. Remember Naaman in the river. He was a great commander, but he had leprosy. I told him to dip in the dirty Jordan River 7 times. Not once. Not twice. 7 times. His pride was offended. It seemed foolish. It seemed beneath him. Logic told him that dipping in water couldn't cure a disease. But his miracle was tied to his ridiculous obedience. If he had dipped 6 times, he would have come up a leper. It was the 7th dip, the complete obedience, that released the healing. I may ask you to do something that seems small or foolish to the world. I may ask you to give away money when you are in debt. I may ask you to apologize when you were the one who was wronged. I may ask you to start a business in a recession. Your intellect must bow to my instruction. Your mind is a good servant, but a terrible master. Do not let your reasoning talk you out of your miracle. Small acts of obedience open the floodgates of great blessing. You are waiting for the Red Sea to part, and I am waiting for you to dip your staff in the water. You are waiting for the walls to fall, and I am waiting for you to shout. The breakthrough is on the other side of your yes. I am challenging you today. What is the thing I have been telling you to do that you have been putting off? What is the instruction you have buried under excuses? Dig it out. Do it. Do it afraid. Do it with questions. But do it. I am looking for a yes, Lord, without the but attached to it. When you obey me in the radical things, I will show up in the supernatural things. Trust my wisdom over your own. I see the whole picture. You only see a pixel. Obey and watch what happens. My child, as you take this final step, you need to look around at who is walking with you. This is a hard truth, but it is a necessary one. Not everyone can go where I am taking you. You are entering a season of elevation, and elevation requires separation. You cannot fly like an eagle if you are scratching around in the dirt with chickens. I call you to love everyone, yes, but you cannot walk with everyone. I'm pruning your relationships. It hurts, I know. You feel the distance growing between you and people you used to be close to. You feel them pulling away, or perhaps I am making you feel uncomfortable in their presence. Do not fight this. I am protecting your purpose. There are people in your life who are anchored to the past you are trying to leave. There are people whose voices feed your fears instead of your faith. They are joy thieves and dream killers, even if they don't mean to be. Beware of voices that encourage your comfort over your calling. When you tell them about the giant step you are about to take, they say, "Be careful," or "That's too risky," or "Who do you think you are?" They project their own limitations onto you. You cannot afford to have those voices in your ear right now. You need a circle of faith, not a committee of fear. You need people who will say, "Go for it." God is with you, not people who list all the reasons you might fail. Solitude with me is better than the company of doubters. Do not be afraid to walk alone for a season. Moses went up the mountain alone. Jesus went into the wilderness alone. In the solitude, I can speak to you clearly. In the quiet, I can download the strategy for the next level without the interference of other people's opinions. This step requires you to audit your inner circle. who is speaking into your life, who has access to your heart. If they are not pulling you up, they are dragging you down. Release them with love. Bless them and move on. You are not responsible for their journey. You are responsible for your obedience. I am bringing new people into your life, kingdom connections, destiny helpers, people who carry the same fire that is burning in you. Make room for them by letting go of the wrong ones. You are standing at the border, but I see that you are still wearing your old clothes. You are still wearing the identity of the victim, the failure, the rejected one. You cannot enter the promised land with a slave mentality. If you carry the mindset of a slave into the palace, you will turn the palace into a prison. I am changing your name today. I am changing your identity. I am changing your name from Jacob, the deceiver, the wrestler, to Israel, the one who has power with God. Stop identifying with your wounds. Stop introducing yourself by your problems. I'm just a recovering addict. I'm just a divorced single mom. I'm just a nobody. Oh, silence those words. That is your history, not your identity. You are a royal priesthood. You are a chosen generation. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. I have put a robe of righteousness on your shoulders and a ring of authority on your finger. I see you as a conqueror. It is time you see yourself that way. When you look in the mirror, I want you to see what I see. I see a masterpiece. I see a warrior. I see my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. You must upgrade your self-image to match your future. A king does not beg. A queen does not cower. You are royalty. Walk with your head high. Speak with authority. When the enemy tries to remind you of who you were, remind him of who you are. You are a new creation in Christ Jesus. The old has gone. The new is here. This internal shift must happen before the external change can manifest. If you don't believe you are worthy of the blessing, you will sabotage it when it comes. Receive my love. Let it wash away the shame. Let it wash away the feelings of inadequacy. You are enough because I am enough, and I live in you. Put on your new name. Wear it well. The world is waiting for the real you to show up. I feel the pull of the world trying to steal your attention, but I implore you, stay anchored. I have just given you a new identity, but I have not yet shown you how to wield the authority that comes with it. If you leave my presence now, you risk slipping back into the grave clothes I just stripped off you. Do not break this holy connection. My heart aches when you choose a fleeting distraction over the eternal truth of my mouth. A most critical instruction is coming. Do not miss it. My child, I am handing you a weapon that the enemy underestimates. It is the weapon of worship. You think worship is just for Sunday morning. You think it is just a song you sing when you feel happy. No. Worship is a weapon of war. Worship is the sound of your faith striking the atmosphere. When you cannot move your feet, you must move your lips in praise. Worship confuses the enemy. When you are in the middle of a storm, and everything is going wrong, and you start to sing hallelujah, the enemy does not know what to do with you. He expects you to panic. He expects you to complain. But when you praise, you are declaring that your God is bigger than your problem. You are shifting the atmosphere from despair to victory. Praise is the battering ram that breaks down the walls of Jericho. The Israelites didn't push the walls down. They shouted them down. They worshiped before the walls fell. That is the key. Do not wait for the breakthrough to worship. Worship to bring the breakthrough. Praise is the spark that ignites the explosion of my power. Your psalm in the night is the signal of a coming dawn. When Paul and Silas were in the deepest dungeon, beaten and bound in chains, they didn't sulk. They sang. At midnight, they sang hymns to me. And what happened? The earth shook. The foundations were shaken. The doors flew open. The chains fell off. Your worship unlocked their prison. I inhabit the praises of my people. Do you hear that? I live in your praise. When you worship, you are building a throne for me to come and sit in the middle of your situation. And when the king enters the room, the enemy has to flee. Sickness has to bow. Depression has to leave. Poverty has to break. So, I command you, open your mouth. I know you don't feel like it. I know your throat is tight with tears. Sing anyway. Speak my promises back to me. Crank up the music in your car, in your kitchen, in your shower. Let the high praises of God be in your mouth and a two-edged sword in your hand. Fight your battles with a melody. The victory sound is already in your spirit. Release it. My child, we need to have a very serious conversation about your need to understand everything. I see your mind working overtime. I see you lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, trying to connect the dots. You are playing out every possible scenario in your head. You are trying to calculate the cost, predict the risks, and figure out exactly how this miracle is going to happen. You are exhausting yourself trying to do my job. You are responsible for the what? The step of obedience. I am responsible for the how, the mechanics of the miracle. Trying to figure out every detail will only lead you to deep anxiety. You were not designed to carry the burden of omniscience. You do not have the capacity to know the end from the beginning, but I do. When you try to figure out the how, you are stepping out of the realm of faith and into the realm of logic. Logic has its place, but logic cannot part the Red Sea. Logic cannot feed 5,000 people with a boy's lunch. Logic cannot raise the dead. If you wait until you understand how I am going to do it, you will never move. My ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. You cannot calculate a miracle on a spreadsheet. You cannot predict a breakthrough with a risk assessment. I work in the invisible. I work in the silence. I work in the places you cannot see. Release the need to understand the mechanics of my providence. Think of a child in a car. The child does not worry about the engine, the transmission, the fuel injection, or the route. The child simply trusts that the father is driving and that they will arrive safely at home. I am driving. You are the passenger. Stop trying to grab the steering wheel. Faith operates in the realm of the unseen. It is the evidence of things not seen. If you can see how it is going to work, it is not faith. I am asking you to trust me with the process. I am asking you to trust that I have resources you know nothing about. I have people you haven't met yet who are already walking toward you with the keys you need. I have opportunities that are being created right now that will open at the exact right moment. When you let go of the how, you release a heavy weight. You find peace. You can say, Lord, I don't know how you are going to fix this marriage, but I trust you. I don't know how you are going to pay this debt, but I trust you. I don't know how you are going to heal this body, but I trust you. That is the sound of freedom. That is the sound of a child who knows their father is good. So, I command you right now, stop calculating. Stop worrying. Stop strategizing in your own strength. Take a deep breath and blow out the anxiety of the how. Give it to me. I have been being God for a very long time, and I am very good at it. I do not need your advice. I need your trust. I do not need your help. I need your surrender. Walk in the obedience I have given you today, and leave the impossible mechanics to me. I will handle it. I always do. My beloved, I know you are grieving. I know you feel a sense of loss as you move into this new season. You are looking at the things that are falling away, the relationships that are ending, the doors that are closing, the comfort zones that are being disrupted, and you interpret it as tragedy. You think you are losing ground. You think you are losing status. You think you are losing love. But I am here to tell you that what you think you are losing is simply making space for the new. You are experiencing the illusion of loss. In my kingdom, nothing given to me is ever truly lost. It is only invested. A seed must fall to the ground and die to produce a harvest. If the seed stays safe in your hand, it remains alone. It remains small. But if you release it, if you let it fall into the dirt and die, it multiplies. You are in a season of planting. The death of the old is necessary for the birth of the new. Do not grieve the end of a season. Celebrate the beginning of the next. I remove the good to give you the great. I remove the temporary to give you the eternal. Sometimes I have to pry your fingers open because you are holding on to things that are too small for you. You are holding on to a good job, but I have a great calling. You are holding on to a comfortable relationship, but I have a destiny connection. You are crying over the loss of a pebble while I am trying to give you a diamond. Your perceived loss is actually a divine exchange. You are trading your weakness for my strength. You are trading your anxiety for my peace. You are trading your limited plans for my limitless purpose. Trust the surgeon's hand. If I cut something away, it is because it was hindering your growth. If I close a door, it is because there was nothing left for you in that room. I am the restorer. I do not just give back what was lost, I give back more. When Job lost everything, I didn't just replace it, I gave him double. When you surrender your Isaac, I give him back to you with a covenant. Do not be afraid of the empty space. Do not rush to fill the void with distractions. Let the space remain open. Let it remain empty for a moment. I am about to fill it with something that will blow your mind. So wipe your tears. Stop looking at the closed door. Turn around. Look at the horizon. The sun is rising on a new day. The things you are leaving behind serve their purpose. Thank them. Bless them. And let them go. You cannot embrace the future if you are still hugging the past. Release it all to me. I'm turning your mourning into dancing. I am turning your loss into gain. Trust me. Lift your eyes, my child. Lift them higher. You are looking at the mud around your feet. You are looking at the storm clouds directly above your head. You are consumed by the temporary troubles of this day, the bills, the arguments, the aches in your body, the traffic, the noise. These things feel so big. They feel so permanent. But I am calling you to shift your focus. Lift your eyes above your temporary circumstances and look at the eternal reality. This step you are taking, this struggle, this victory, this season, is just one small piece of a much larger, eternal mosaic. You are part of a story that began before the foundations of the world and will continue long after the stars burn out. Your life is not just about paying rent and buying groceries. It is about glory. It is about the kingdom. It is about eternity. Your light and momentary troubles are achieving for you an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. Did you hear me? I called your troubles light and momentary. I know they feel heavy. I know they feel like they have lasted forever. But compared to the weight of glory that is coming, they are like a feather. Compared to the span of eternity, they are like a blink of an eye. I want you to live with the end in mind. Life for the things that cannot be shaken. The world is shaking. The economies are shaking. The governments are shaking. But my kingdom cannot be shaken. When you build your life on the rock of my word, you are building something that will last forever. Stop building sandcastles that the tide will wash away. Build with gold, silver, and precious stones. Line your heart's desires with heaven's agenda. When you start caring about what I care about, your perspective changes. The things that used to stress you out won't matter anymore. The opinions of people will fade away. The need for validation will disappear. You will realize that the only audience that matters is an audience of one. I am preparing you for a kingdom that has no end. I am getting you ready to rule and reign with me. This earth is a training ground. It is a school. Every trial is a lesson. Every test is an exam. You are in training for royalty. So do not get discouraged by the difficulty of the course. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the finish line. I am coming soon, and my reward is with me. Hold on. Do not give up. The night is almost over. The day is at hand. Fix your eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. See the joy set before you. It will give you the strength to endure the cross and despise the shame. You are citizens of heaven. Live like it. I am speaking to the warrior inside of you today. I know you feel like a frightened child sometimes. I know you feel weak. I know you look at the size of the battle and you want to run and hide under the covers. But I am calling out the spirit of courage that I placed inside you when I knit you together in your mother's womb. I commanded Joshua to be strong and courageous. I didn't suggest it. I didn't ask him if he felt like it. I commanded it. And today, I command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Understand this. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. If you didn't feel fear, you wouldn't need courage. The trembling you feel is not a sin. It is a reaction. But you must not let the trembling stop your feet from moving. You must look fear in the face and say, "You can scream, but you cannot stop me. I have not given you a spirit of timidity. I have not given you a spirit that shrinks back. I have given you the spirit of the Lion of Judah. That spirit lives in your chest. It is a spirit of power. It is a spirit of boldness. It is a spirit that laughs at the enemy. You need to tap into that power. You need to stop agreeing with your weakness and start agreeing with my strength. Step out boldly, knowing the lion walks beside you. When you walk into a room, I walk in with you. When you speak, I speak through you. Your boldness intimidates the darkness. The enemy is terrified of a believer who knows who they are. He is terrified of someone who refuses to back down. Be that person. Be the one who stands when everyone else runs. Take the territory I have assigned to you. It is yours. I gave it to you. But you have to put your foot on it. You have to claim it. You have to evict the enemy. Do not wait for someone else to do it for you. Do not wait for the conditions to be perfect. They never will be. The time is now. Rise up, my champion. Put on the full armor of God. Become the shield of faith. Draw the sword of the Spirit. Stand firm. You are not a victim. You are a victor. You are more than a conqueror through him who loved you. Let a holy roar rise up from your belly. Let the world know that you serve the living God. Be brave. Be bold. I am with you. I have commanded you to be courageous in spirit, and now I invite you to be courageous in your generosity. taking territory requires resources, and spreading this message of hope to the ends of the earth is a battle we fight together. Will you stand with me as a pillar in this house, supporting the mission through a donation or membership today? As it is written, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Your support is the fuel that keeps this fire burning, reaching lost sheep who are desperate for the courage you now possess. Do not let fear whisper that you lack enough to give. Let faith roar that you cannot afford not to sow into the kingdom. Show your boldness right now by using the super thanks or the PayPal link below. Honor me with your substance, and I will rebuke the devourer for your sake. Do not retreat. You are standing on holy ground, and I am arming you for the victory of your life. To disconnect now is to drop your sword in the middle of the battlefield. It breaks my heart to see my warrior turn back when the triumph is within reach. I have saved the most powerful revelation for the very end. Honor me with your time, and I will honor you with my power. We are almost there. Finish this with me. My child, listen to the words that are coming out of your mouth. I listen to them, and often I am grieved. You are speaking death over your own life. You are cursing your own future. You say things like, I'll never get out of debt, my marriage is hopeless, I'm always sick, I'm so stupid. Do you not know that life and death are in the power of the tongue? You are created in my image. And how did I create the universe? I spoke. I said, let there be light, and there was light. Your words have creative power. When you speak, you are prophesying your future. If you speak defeat, you will eat the fruit of defeat. If you speak victory, you will eat the fruit of victory. I am commanding you to change your vocabulary. Stop rehearsing the problem and start declaring the promise. Stop telling me how big your mountain is, and start telling your mountain how big your God is. Prophecy to the dry bones in your life. Look at the dead situations, the dead dreams, the dead relationships, and speak life. Say, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Live. Your words are the rudder that steers your ship. If you want to change the direction of your life, you have to change the conversation in your mouth. You cannot talk like a victim and expect to live like a king. You cannot talk sickness and expect health. Agree with what I say about you, not what the world says, and certainly not what your feelings say. I watch over my word to perform it. I am waiting for you to speak my word back to me. When you pray my word, you are giving me permission to intervene. You are releasing angels to work on your behalf. Say, I am the head and not the tail. Say, by his stripes I am healed. Say, my God shall supply all my needs. Say it until you believe it. Say it until your spirit aligns with it. Silence the complaints. Silence the negativity. Let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up. Speak blessing over your children. Speak favor over your job. Speak peace over your home. Your voice is a weapon. Use it. Shout the victory before you see it. Declare the end from the beginning. Speak, my child. Speak life. My child, come closer. I want to whisper a truth into your spirit that is the bedrock of everything we have talked about. It is the promise that anchors your soul when the winds are tearing at your sails. It is the guarantee that makes every other promise possible. I am speaking of my presence. I know there are moments when you feel an aching hollowness in your chest, a loneliness so profound that it feels like you are the only person on earth. I know you have walked into rooms full of people and felt completely invisible. I know you have cried into your pillow, wondering if your prayers are just bouncing off the ceiling. But hear me now, clearly and forever. I will never leave you nor forsake you. This is not a poetic sentiment. is a covenant vow. I am not a fair-weather friend who vanishes when the storm clouds gather. I am the friend that sticks closer than a brother. I am the shadow at your right hand. I am the air in your lungs. I am the beat in your heart. You could not escape my presence even if you tried. If you go up to the heavens, I am there. If you make your bed in the depths, I am there. You are enveloped in me. I know you are walking through a valley right now. The shadows are long, and the air is cold. You call it the valley of the shadow of death. But notice the word shadow. A shadow cannot hurt you. A shadow is just a distortion of light. And where there is a shadow, there must be a light casting it. I am that light. I am walking right beside you in the dark. You are not walking this path as an orphan. You are not wandering aimlessly without a guide. My rod and my staff, they comfort you. My rod is there to beat back the wolves that try to attack you. My staff is there to pull you back when you wander too close to the edge of the cliff. I am actively protecting you, even when you cannot see the threats I am deflecting. You feel exposed, but you are actually the most protected being in the universe because you are hidden in Christ. I challenge you to practice the presence of God. When you wake up, say, "Good morning, Lord." When you are driving, talk to me. When you are stressed, lean into me. I am closer to you than the very breath in your lungs. There is no distance between us except the distance you create in your mind. Tear down the wall of unbelief. Tear down the wall of shame. I am right here. My presence is the guarantee of your success. Moses knew this. He said, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." He knew that without me, the promised land was just a piece of real estate. It is my presence that makes it paradise. It is my presence that brings the joy. It is my presence that brings the peace that passes understanding. So, stop looking for a sign and start looking for a person. I am the sign. I am the miracle. And I am with you, always, even to the very end of the age. Rest in that. Breathe it in. You are never, ever alone. My beloved, look at the size of your expectation. I see it. It is too small. You are asking for a cup of water, and I am standing here with an ocean. You are asking for survival, and I am planning for overflow. I am about to pour out a blessing that you cannot contain. But here is the problem. Your container is too small. You have structured your life around scarcity. You have built your mindset around just getting by. You are managing your life as if I am a God of limited resources. I command you today, enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your curtains wide. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. This is an instruction for preparation. You do not expand your tent after the family has grown. You expand it before to make room for the increase. I am waiting for you to make room for what I am about to do. I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, or they will burst. You must upgrade your capacity to receive. What does this look like? It looks like stewardship. Stewardship in the little things prepares you for the much. If you cannot manage the $100 I gave you, why would I trust you with the $1,000,000? If you cannot manage the peace in your home now, how will you manage the influence I want to give you? I am watching how you handle the little. Are you faithful? Are you generous? Are you grateful? Or are you hoarding, complaining, and fearful? Change your mindset from scarcity to kingdom abundance. Scarcity says there isn't enough. Abundance says, my Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Scarcity says, I have to fight for my slice of the pie. Abundance says, my Father is the baker, He can make more pies. Stop living with a poverty spirit. A poverty spirit grips. A kingdom spirit gives. A poverty spirit worries. A kingdom spirit trusts. Get your vessels ready, for the rain is coming. Remember the widow who came to Elisha. She was in debt and desperate. He told her to go borrow vessels, empty jars, from her neighbors. He said, "Do not get a few." Why? Because the oil flowed only as long as there were empty vessels to fill. When the vessels ran out, the oil stopped. The limitation was not in the supply of oil. The limitation was in the number of vessels he prepared. Do not be the reason your blessing stops flowing. Prepare more vessels. Prepare your character. Prepare your skills. Prepare your home. Prepare your business. Clean up the clutter. Organize your life. Show me that you are ready for the upgrade. If you knew that a dignitary was coming to your house next week, you would scrub the floors, paint the walls, and stock the fridge. Well, the King of Glory is coming to visit you with a reward. Get the house ready. The abundance is not a maybe. It is a surely. But you must be positioned to catch the rain when it falls. The moment has arrived. We are standing at the edge of the river. The water is rushing. It looks cold. It looks dangerous. This is your Jordan. This is the boundary line between your history and your destiny. On this side lies the wilderness, the wandering, the constant struggle, the almost there. On the other side lies the land of milk and honey, the vineyards you didn't plant, the houses you didn't build, the fullness of my promise. But here is the catch. The river will not part while you are standing on the dry bank. I know you are waiting for the water to stop flowing before you step in. You want the guarantee of safety before you make the move. But that is not how this works. The Jordan River will part only when your feet touch the water. It requires a step of wet feet. It requires you to step into the mess, into the risk, into the flow, trusting that the moment your soul hits the surface, the supernatural will take over. This is the moment of decision. Do not hesitate. Hesitation is the assassin of destiny. If you stand here too long analyzing the water, you will talk yourself out of the crossing. You will convince yourself that the wilderness wasn't so bad after all. You will start romancing your chains. At least I had garlic and onions in Egypt, you will say. No. Do not look back. Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt, frozen in a moment of indecision. Keep your face like flint toward the other side. Cross over from the land of promise imagined to the land of promise possessed. It is one thing to dream about the promise. It is another to walk in it. It is one thing to have a prophecy. It is another to have a testimony. This step converts the potential into the actual. It takes the word someday and turns it into today. Leave the wilderness mentality on the other bank. The mindset of the victim cannot swim in these waters. The habit of complaining cannot survive on the other side. The addiction to drama must die here. You are crossing over as a new person. Strip off the grave clothes of the past season. Leave the bitterness in the desert. Leave the I can't in the sand. You are entering a land of giants, yes, but also a land of grapes. You need a warrior's mind, not a wanderer's mind. Take the step with joy and expectation. Do not cross over trembling, cross over shouting. Cross over with a praise on your lips. I am waiting for you with open arms on the other side. I have already gone before you. I have prepared the place. The table is set. The banquet is ready. All of creation is holding its breath, waiting for you to take the step. The water is waiting to bow to your faith. Step now. Step boldly. Step into your future. My precious child, we have walked a long road together in this conversation. I have spoken to your heart. I have challenged your spirit, and I have called you higher. Now, the time for talking is drawing to a close, and the time for acting has begun. I am sending you out. I am not sending you out empty-handed, and I am certainly not sending you out alone. I am placing my heavy hand of blessing upon your head. Feel it. It is a weight of glory. It is a mantle of power. Go forth, my child, in the power of my Spirit. Do not go in your own strength, for you will weary. Go in the strength of the Lord. Run and do not grow weary. Walk and do not faint. I commission you today to be a light in the darkness. I commission you to be a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. I commission you to be the salt of the earth. Where there is decay, bring preservation. Where there is hate, bring love. Where there is chaos, bring my peace. I bless you to be a blessing to the nations. Your life is no longer just about you. You are a distribution center for heaven's resources. I will bless you coming in, and I will bless you going out. I will bless your basket and your kneading trough. I command the blessing upon your storehouses and in all that you set your hand to do. You are blessed to be a conduit, a river of living water to a thirsty world. The step is taken. The victory is won. Receive that in your spirit. It is finished. The struggle you have been fighting, I have already defeated it. Walk in the confidence of a winner. Stop fighting for approval and start living from approval. You are my beloved. Nothing can change that. Walk in the light of my countenance. Let my face shine upon you. When people look at you, let them see a reflection of my glory. Let them ask, what is different about you? And let your answer be, it is the Lord. My peace, which surpasses all understanding, guards your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Let that peace be the sentry at the door of your heart. When fear tries to knock, let peace answer the door. When anxiety tries to break in, let peace stand guard. You are safe. You are held. You are secure. I love you with an everlasting love. I have loved you with a love that death could not extinguish. I love you on the cross. I love you in your failures. I love you in your victories. There is nothing you can do to make me love you more, and there is nothing you can do to make me love you less. You are mine. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands, and I'll walk into your destiny. Walk into your healing. Walk into your purpose. The door is open. The path is clear, and I am with you, cheering you on, every step of the way. Go, my child. Go and live. You have drunk deeply from the water of life today. Now, I call you to become a river that flows to others. This final step of faith involves partnering with me to ensure this voice continues to cry out in the wilderness. If this message has unlocked a door in your spirit, I invite you to seal it with an offering of gratitude through Super Thanks, membership, or the donation link below. By supporting this work, you are buying stock in eternity, investing in souls that you may never meet until you reach heaven's gates. I promise that my God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory, and that promise activates when you align with my work. Do not leave this altar without leaving a sacrifice of thanksgiving. Click the button, sow your seed, and declare that you are a partner in my global harvest. Give today, and watch me open the windows of heaven over your life. Do not let this word simply fade into the silence. Seal it right now with a prophetic act of agreement. I call you to drive a stake into the ground of your destiny by declaring your obedience below. Right, I am taking the final step. When you release these words, You are not merely typing a comment. You are shattering the silence of fear and signing the contract of your breakthrough. Let the heavens record your yes, and let the enemy tremble at your boldness. You it now, for your new season begins the moment you agree with my word. Amen.